Hi, I'm Andrew Rich, and if you're like me, you look at the state of modern wrestling discourse and think, wow, what a cesspool. That's why I'm here to tell you about Music of the Mat Remix. That's right, your favorite wrestling music podcast is back with a new format, where I bring on a guest and we play songs related to wrestling-themed topics. It could be a wrestling reference, a wrestling concept, a wrestling pun, things of that nature. Now you might be saying, Andrew, that is a very, very tenuous connection to pro wrestling on a wrestling podcast network. Is this just an excuse to hang out with your friends and talk about music and ignore the rest of the wrestling landscape? Yes. Yes, it is. So listen to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice.
Wrestling Omakase is back, baby! The weekly podcast that takes you across all the top promotions on the entire Japanese wrestling scene, from New Japan to Stardom, Noah, DDT, All Japan, Mari Gold, Dragon Gate, Tokyo Joshi, Sendai Girls, and a whole lot more. I'm John Carroll, a fan of Japanese wrestling for over 20 years, and every week I'm joined by a rotating cast of guest co-hosts as we break down all the top promotions in Japan, men's and women's. Check out Wrestling Omakase right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network today.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Thank you so much for supporting WWE and NXT and me. You're so sweet.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
You know what I want out of my wrestling? I want Bryan Danielson versus Yuji Nagata, and then a week later, Bryan Danielson versus Hechelson. Why? Because fuck you, that's why. That's what I want out of my wrestling.
Rich Frage.
I hate my life so much where there's so many things I don't know about. You said, hey, who was the large-breasted, who was General Hugh G. Rections, Dame?
And you know that.
And I knew it without even a second. Oh, that's Major Guns with 2 N. Yeah, I got that.
Dun, 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 dun. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Dun, 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 dun. Boo!
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, what's happening? How are you?
How are you?
Doing well. We're following up on our, 5 hours we went last week? A 5-hour Flagship last week. Just an unbelievable show last week with the Hogan bio and 2 extra hours to make up for a lost week there. But we're back here. I think this one's going to go less than 5, I think.
I don't see 5 hours of material
I'm
here.
fairly confident it's going to be less than 5.
I didn't see 5 hours of material last week, though, either. That's the thing. So who knows?
Yeah, who can say? But we got some good stuff on the docket for this week. We are going to move the Thursday Dynamite review, your usual Thursday Dynamite review that you do on Thursday at flagshippatreon.com. This week is going to be moved to the Flagship, so I have a chance to review this episode of Dynamite as well. So the Thursday Dynamite review moving to the Flagship.
Whoa! Hold on. I thought you were just going to piss off for 40 minutes while I did the Thursday Dynamite review.
That'd be great. I could do that too. Yeah, I got some laundry I can get done. I don't have cats I can pet like a certain other person, but I could fuck off for 40 minutes. You want me to the floor is yours. You want to just do your normal thing and I stay out of the way? I could do that.
The long pause and all.
Long pause and all, I say. I think you got to still do the long pause, right? I think when it's time to do the Thursday Dynamite review, I think you got to have because it is Thursday and you are going to do a Dynamite review. I think you got to do it. The people demand the long pause.
We could do the long pause.
I think you should do the long pause. Yeah,
we could do that.
But do you want me to talk? Because I can stay out of the way if you want. I have no problem with that.
No,
you probably want to.
You have to be a full participant.
Okay, that's fine.
Listen,
we pushed it here. People want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did watch the whole show. I did not go to this one live. I went to Collision. I was at Collision Live the one from Saturday. I was there live. Fun building to go watch a wrestling show at the Aragon Ballroom. I enjoyed that. But,
I can also tell you, before we get too deep into this, I am 100% on a delay on your end.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, let's see if we can...
Because I'm talking, and you're taking like a extra second to respond. So I don't know if you want to do something about that or power through it.
See what I can do. Yeah, see what I can do. We'll see. Maybe we'll talk for a little bit more at this point and see if it gets better or worse. You can maybe creatively let me know if it's getting better or worse, and then we can go from there.
Let's power through and see what happens.
Yeah, let's do that. We're usually pretty good about that. But so we're going to do the Thursday Dynamite review on this flagship here. We're going to preview WWE's 2-night SummerSlam coming up this weekend. Yes, SummerSlam is this weekend. I don't like it this early in the year. It's usually mid to late August. This year, it's August 1st and August 2nd, or August 2nd, August 3rd, whatever, for the 2-night SummerSlam. So we'll preview that. We'll also talk about the indie events taking place throughout the weekend in the New York, New Jersey area, because there are actually a lot of other shows going on. Not any shows that I think you want to go to or I want to go to or anybody really wants to watch or go to, but I think they're at least worth noting. There's a couple matches here and there where I'm like, oh, man, that's a pretty good match that's really kind of falling by the wayside and just kind of going under the radar, because I don't think a lot of people know that some indies are trying to make SummerSlam weekend a thing, and I don't know if it's really becoming a thing. And this year, I don't know if it's a thing. We'll discuss, because I'm sure most of you listening to this have no idea that there's indie shows taking place this week during SummerSlam week/weekend. And I'm sure some of you don't even know SummerSlam is this weekend, but it is. So we're going to preview that, get you ready for that. We also want to catch you up on the G1 Climax. You've been doing daily audio at flagshippatreon.com, reviewing each and every one of the G1 Climax shows. I just want to do a quick little recap of where the blocks are, where everybody is, who's got who left, and some general thoughts about the G1, because we haven't talked about it on the flagship yet. Also, WWE's acquisition of AAA it will be official by the time most of you guys listen to this. I believe August 1st is the official transfer of the Pena Roldan family transferring AAA to WWE and Philippe or whatever the heck that other company is. So we'll talk a little bit about what that is going to look like, because there's already some reports coming out of what WWE thinks AAA is going to look like under their watch, and it's not great. It's not too great. So we'll discuss that. I also have a Joshi match to recommend to you, Joe. I don't know if you're going to watch it, but this one is very easy to watch. So I think you might be able to watch, because it's not, you don't have to go to a Russian sicko site. You don't have to go to any weird things. You don't have to go to a torrent. You don't have to go to, what were those download sites? What were the download ones that we'd always, the drive sites? What the hell? There's one I'm trying to think of. I wanted to do the big insert
Mega Upload.
Mega Upload. It's exactly the one I was thinking of, but I forgot what it was called. Yes, Mega Upload. It's not in 5 Mega Upload pieces. No, it is available on New Japan World right now as well, because it was a New Japan Strong Women's title. So I think that might be doable for you. So I will try to recommend that match to you.
Can I name the New Japan Strong Women's champion?
Perhaps we'll find out. How about later we do that? I'll admit that I didn't initially know that this was a New Japan Strong Women's championship match until about halfway through the match, and I said, "Oh yeah, right, that person. She's the New Japan Strong Women's champion." In fact, I may have seen her win the title live. I forget if not, but anyway, yeah, we will discuss that later in the show. I don't know, where do you want to start? And has our delay gotten better in your mind?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
If you're good, I'm good.
I'm good. We're pros. We'll make it work. We will. But anyway, I don't know. Do you want to start with SummerSlam? You want to start with the Thursday Dynamite review? Where do you want to go with this? Got a lot of ways we can go.
Where do you want to go with it, Rich Craich? I'm good. I am ready to go. I'm a professional. I'm ready to talk about any and all topics. I mean,
I would say we could wait until Collision is done, because we are running head to head with Collision. Tone put Collision on Thursday again to try to take us down. I mean, some people might say it's to avoid SummerSlam, but I don't know. I see that as like Cody. I feel disrespected about.
I didn't know Collision was on tonight.
Yeah, it's on right fucking now. Yeah.
I guess I haven't been paying attention. It's live, right?
It's live. Yep.
Because they did 6. Right. This is the last of the 6 shows at the residency. I had no idea that what Collision was tonight, so I'll have to get that watched later. And I don't know, maybe do some audio on it. Who knows? Nice break from the G1 today, at least. But yeah, that's news. I mean, some will say you're right. I mean, is he avoiding SummerSlam? Is he trying to take us down? Which is it? It could be either or.
Like me and Cody are similar. There's a lot of love But there's some bad blood there. There's some disrespect there for sure, from whatever the hell Tone is doing. Let's talk about that actually real quick. How about let's start with that. The Cody Rhodes comments that have gotten a lot of buzz this week, which is probably not the intention as you're doing the press junkets to get out ahead of SummerSlam. Maybe it is. Maybe it is actually the intention. Is Cody, having some choice words. Not, it was, they're pretty low key, but I think for it being the first time Cody has really said that there was some disrespect, that he felt disrespected in AEW. Let me get the exact quote just so everybody has the context there. But it's interesting because Cody has usually been kind of above that for the time that he's left AEW, and when asked about it, just being like, we created something there, and it's but I felt it was time to leave or whatever. This is the first time that he says, all right, here we go. Quote, if I ever felt disrespected at WWE, that's one thing. This is on the Ringer podcast, by the way. He was on the Ringer podcast. Quote, if I ever felt disrespected ever at WWE, that's one thing. That's a company that was built. That's the Yankees. That's the flagship of it all. Here we go. Again, another shot at us. I get it. Cody's on us. Tony's on us. We have no allies in this wrestling world. But anyway, quote, feeling disrespected at something I built with my friends that we built, feeling disrespected there, I wouldn't stand for it. So some pretty pointed comments there from Cody, responding to his leaving of AEW. But what did you make of him finally maybe ripping that Band-Aid off and saying the disrespect there, that I wouldn't stand for it? That's harsher language than he's ever used when discussing AEW before.
Well, first of all, he didn't specify what was so disrespectful. That's number one.
That would be a good follow-up question that he wasn't going to get on this particular interview.
And I don't know that he would have answered it with a follow-up, but I guess we'll never know. But it's hard to really break it down from that standpoint because he didn't lay out what the disrespect was. With that said, this is the first time that either Cody or Tony Khan have really spoken on the split. It seemed they had some kind of handshake agreement not to speak about it. And in fact, they've both said that they had an agreement not to speak about it. Cody's been tiptoeing to the line a little bit, with each passing interview. And this time he took the first giant step across the line by saying, that he's not going to be disrespected. So at minimum, we now know that he feels like he was disrespected and that's why he didn't want to be there. We just now at this point don't know why he was disrespected. I can say this. Whether it's Case Lowe or whoever else, if somebody asks Tony about this, I guarantee he's not going to say anything. He will continue to dodge that question and not speak on it and honor whatever the handshake agreement was that he had with Cody. I could almost guarantee that. So I don't know if we're going to get an answer from his perspective, but I do think it's interesting that Cody, for whatever reason, has decided that it's time to kind of break that agreed upon silence on it. I don't know what his motivations are. A lot of people seem to think it's to drum up interest in SummerSlam. I don't know if I necessarily buy that. He doesn't know he's going to get asked that question.
Yeah, who's more interested in SummerSlam because he said that, I left there. And there was one more quote too. The greatest revenge on earth is success. I did way more here than you think, and you're going to find out the moment I'm out the door. I mean, does that get you more excited for SummerSlam?
One too.
Against John Cena?
No, but the theory would be that by making those kind of comments, it's going to draw people to the interview where he then discusses SummerSlam.
Sure.
That's the theory. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily buy that.
No, people don't consume media that way. With so much aggregation out there and so many clips and stuff like that, like, a lot of people then were following up with did he even talk about SummerSlam in this interview? They don't know. Nobody actually is going to go listen. How many people are going to go listen to this whole Ringer interview with Cody and not just go to their wrestling website of choice that's going to aggregate those exact quotes for them and send it to them, and then they're just going to go argue about those quotes with a bunch of people all day.
You got the two juicy quotes right there.
Yeah, that's
how people are going to view it. I don't know if that's his mindset. He doesn't know what he's going to get asked. So how does he even know he's going to be able to unload in that way? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know if I necessarily buy that that's his intention. But for whatever reason, he feels more comfortable being a lot more forward about the situation, where previously he was always very classy about it and just didn't speak on it. That's going to stay between me and Tony, or, I'm not going to talk about that. Same thing from Tony's side. So, now he seems to be annoyed. He feels like they're taking subtle shots at him. So maybe that's why he feels more emboldened to speak. There was a clip going around of Cody sort of complaining about what Toni Storm said at one of the pressers.
It was at Dynasty. After Dynasty, she said, I'm going to finish the story, but I don't want you to be in the ring there celebrating with me, Tony. And
so two things: finish the story, which is obviously was Cody's whole deal, and not wanting and saying, I don't want you to be in the ring with me because Levesque and Nick Khan and everybody came in the ring at WrestleMania. So there's a clip going around of Cody taking exception to that, and one of the things he says is he doesn't name Toni Storm by name, but he says, one of their performers, however he termed it, should keep my name out of their mouth, my wife's name out of their mouth. And Tony, referring to Khan, Tony should let people know that they shouldn't say things like that. And I'm paraphrasing, but he's obviously putting the heat on Tony Khan in that situation, not Toni Storm, almost as if so Cody might think in his mind that it's actually Tony Khan who broke the truce because Cody doesn't want to be just mentioned at all by any of these people in that company. So maybe that's what has motivated him to, when he's asked now, maybe he thought to himself, hey, look, now if people ask me about this, I'm just going to unload because I feel like Tony isn't honoring his end of this thing.
Right.
I don't know that, but that's kind of how I've pieced it together as to how maybe he's thinking here.
There's been some theory too that possibly the current EVP storyline with the Young Bucks feels like it's referencing Cody in some ways. I don't get that vibe at all. The Tony thing I do. The Toni Storm thing, I understand how if you are looking for a way to be aggrieved or looking for a way to be annoyed, finish the story. That feels kind of like a nod to Cody. I mean, there's no way you don't see that connection there. And I don't want you in the ring with me, Tony. That again, if you're looking for a reason to sort of be annoyed, I could see how you can make that connection. The Young Bucks EVP thing, I don't necessarily see a connection there. But I definitely see it from the Toni Storm presser thing. And maybe there's a couple other things that are happening that Cody feels like is a little bit of a jab his way that maybe we don't even realize that's happening on TV or whatever. A word that was said between him and Tony in private that's being used in a story. You know what I mean? Like there might be stuff like that we don't even know about. But
I mean, look, I don't see it either with the Bucks thing, but then again, I wasn't in the room with any of these people, and I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are making
right.
Sly
Like there
references.
might be something that's happened. Like the Bucks said something that Cody told Tony, and they thought it was in private, and now because something clearly changed. Like you're saying, something happened there's no reason that Cody would be pretty much exactly to the T PR answers every single time for like 2.5 years, 3 years of this. Cause he would always just, like I said, you mentioned a little bit earlier, he would always say, we built something great there, but it was just time to move on and try something new. Or, I'll never, regret my time there, but I had to move on. Like just stuff like that. Like those usual kind of boilerplate PR answers. This is as biting as it's been. So something changed. There had to be a reason why this week he decided to go a little edgier with it and a little stronger with the wording. So what that is, who can say? But yeah, you're right. I think a lot of people are waiting for the next domino to fall on the AEW end. I don't think Tony's going to do that. I think Tony Khan is going to do that. So we'll see if it just gets completely no sold by the company and they just keep doing their thing, or if Cody says more things. Like who knows? Or maybe Cody just decides he feels more emboldened to start letting a couple things out here and there because he's all over the place. He is the face of that company. He's doing media junkets and press conferences all the time. So he's probably going to get asked a form of this question again, and I'd be very curious how he answers it the next time he's asked.
Well, now that he gave people some crumbs, people are going to pounce. They're definitely going to ask him.
You should.
They're going to ask.
And you have to. And if you're a good interviewer, you would say, last time on the Ringer podcast, you said you were felt disrespected. Do you care to elaborate? What disrespect were what disrespect did you feel? What happened? That's if you're a good interviewer, that you have to ask that. And that's going to be juicy. You know what I mean? Because I think, like you said, he's showing that he'll give you a juicy answer now.
Yeah, they're going to ask him. They're going to ask Tony, and we'll see. I could almost guarantee that Tony's is going to no sell.
I don't think he would. Yeah, I don't think he would.
He's not going to say a thing. Cody, I don't know. He does come across very thin-skinned, in my opinion, with all of this. Why does he care? I mean, who cares? You're a gajillionaire at this point. You proved your point. Okay, if your point was, look, he said it himself. He said, I'm going to leave this company and I'm going to show you or whatever it is that the disrespect was. Many are speculating it's that he was upset that Punk was making more money than him, which, if that's the case, I can understand why he'd be upset about that, right? He's the founder of the company. He's the biggest star for the first couple of years, and you hire somebody else and you're paying him more. That's a reasonable question. Now, Punk was clearly drawing more money than Cody by that stage. Punk was a bigger television draw. He was drawing more money. He was responsible for the company. No matter what anybody says in retrospect, I don't care what anybody says. I'll debate them.
We lived through it. We're not retconning this. We all lived through this.
I'll debate anyone, and I will crush them into dust if they want a piece of this. Because, look, the fact of the matter is, no matter what you think of Punk now, he sparked, the business, the peak business that company has ever done. So from that standpoint, Punk would deserve to make the most money, right? But I could also understand Cody's argument. Cody, he's like, what the fuck? I was here first, and we founded the company. So I get it. Mm-hmm. If that's the disrespect he's talking about, I understand. But he has proved his point, because he left and said, you're going to regret it. And what did he do? He became the biggest star in pro wrestling, far surpassing anybody else. And he helped spark the WWE resurgence, where they left AEW in the dust with him on top. And a lot of that was due to Cody.
Mm-hmm.
He
and
proved
Punk's
his
the
point.
guy that Tony gave the money to, crashed and burned, as
That's
anybody
right.
could have possibly seen. And AEW went through a tailspin for about a year and a half.
So, Cody, here's the thing, bud. You were right.
You were right.
You were right about Punk. You were right about yourself. You bet on yourself and won. You are responsible for WWE's business explosion, and you are obviously very much partially responsible for the decline in AEW's business. You did everything you said you were going to do, and you proved your point. So, what are you being so thin-skinned about? You know what I mean? It's like, why even? Who cares if Tony Storm referenced you in a post-show presser? What's the old phrase? A lion doesn't concern themselves with the opinion of a sheep. That's essentially what that situation is. Why you should laugh that off? You're making more money than ever, and you were right about everything. So why be so thin-skinned? Yeah. At a completely different scale. It's like you should. I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to make that point. But I thought better, Rich. I pumped the brakes on one. I pumped the brakes on one because
let it be known in 2025, Joe Lanza thought about something and stopped himself and then moved on. That's what
I'm going to make the point anyway. Do you know how? Do you?
Damn it! We thought we had him. Never mind. Reset the clock. All right. What's up?
Do you know how many people talk shit about this show and me and you and everything else? And I have to tell the people that rat back to me. I'm like, I don't care. Don't tell me this stuff. I couldn't care less what, Bozo Micropod has to say about me. I'm living my best life over here and we're doing great. What do I give a shit? And that should be Cody's attitude in this situation, because he's been right about everything and all he does is win. And let me tell you something else. He could moonwalk back into AEW at any time and prop that business back up. And boy, do they need it. And he knows it too. So I think he's being way too thin-skinned about all this shit. And I think he shouldn't say he shouldn't let it bother him, and he shouldn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I agree. It's very interesting for sure that he decided to take this tact, especially when, like you said, he not only is he winning and he was right and he proved himself, he bet on himself again and he won again. He proved that he was a massive loss to AEW, a gigantic loss to AEW. And like you said, he's on the top of the world in WWE. I mean, he's main eventing the second night of SummerSlam against John Cena for the world title. It's like, what? You got it all, man. But I don't know. It's these wrestlers are wrestlers. And the other point you brought up too, and there was some pushback about this on our Discord when we were talking about this a little bit earlier, voicesofwrestling.com/Discord, if you want to jump on in there. But there were some people saying, I don't think Cody would matter if he came back to AEW. And I'm like, no. He is going to, if and when, and I still think it's a when. I don't think it's an if. I think it's a when. I think there is a point sometime in the future. Now, I think a lot of things have to happen. I think WWE has to either find a new guy or Cody has to get bored or a couple of things have to happen for it to get this way. But I truly believe that at some point we will see Cody in AEW again. And when he comes back, he'll be a big star. And when he comes back, it'll move tickets and it'll move ratings and he'll get a big pop and that's a big time guy. That's a big time star. Whether you like him or not, whatever you think about the current Cody character, or whatever, the guy moves business. The guy is a business dynamo and has been for a couple of years now. There is no way that if he waltzes back into AEW, it's not seen as a massive, massive deal for AEW that he came back home. And guess what? After like a promo and a half, he'd be brought back with open arms too.
I mean, Cody is the same guy who, let's not forget, if you want to tie this into our show, who used to subtweet us as Stardust backstage from Raw when he didn't like things we had to say about his work on this show when he was with WWE the first time. Correct. Rich, is that a factor?
That is at Hyrule Husky or whatever. Yes.
Stardust tweets.
Many times. We were like
subtweeting.
We had the same response. By the way, our response was the same. We were like, Cody, you were just on Raw, like having a match on national television in front of 15,000 people. You have a hot wife and a daughter. What the fuck are you bothering? Who cares? Like, or you
well,
had the daughter at that time. He had the dog.
I don't know if he had. I don't know if he had the wife and daughter.
Oh, he had the wife at the time. He had a girlfriend. We were just like, brother, you got everything. What are you getting mad at us for? Like, it's fine.
But he's a very, very, thin-skinned guy. I mean, he's wears it on his sleeve. I guess he's a guy who like wants you to think he's not wearing it on his sleeve, but he wears it on his sleeve.
Yeah.
He's the, don't tell the papers I'm mad. Like, he's, that's right. So I mean,
that
he really
a couple times, but if you think it's just one, no, it was like a couple of times. Like he would have a match on Raw.
Rich, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
He would be like, "How's that for boring or whatever?" We're like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Look, we would talk about how he never had anything more than a 2.5-star match and all this. We were just doing our show and reviewing things. It either got back to him or he was a listener or something, and he would, subtweet us all the time, which is fine. And that feud carried over. Like, he even did the thing where we were in his mentions one time, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, those two guys tried to get an autograph from me, but, I blew them all." And we're like, "What? We tried to get an autograph?" He's just trying to poke at us. Right. And that's fine. Like, we said things about him. If he wants to poke at us, it's like our listeners know we would never ask anyone for an autograph.
No, and that's the problem. He went too far with it, and he had a bad story. It was a two-pronged story that wasn't very good. Actually, there was a couple parts of it. The fact that you and I hadn't met yet at that point, and we had said that we never met, and everybody knew that we didn't meet. So everyone's like, they've never met, so that's not true. He also said that we asked for an autograph. We would never. I ask so few people for their autographs. I got Bret Hart's autograph a couple weeks ago. I have Okada's autograph, and I have Ultimo Dragon's autograph. That's about the three wrestlers that I'd actually. I mean, the list is short. The list of wrestlers that I will ask an autograph for is very, very, very short. And no offense, Stardust, you weren't on that list in 2015 or whatever. And worst of all, he said that I met him at a Giordano's in Illinois, and I would never go to Giordano's. Giordano's sucks. It's a terrible pizza place. I wouldn't be caught dead there. So yeah, and then people also caught him on that. They're like, "I don't think Rich will go to Giordano's," because I know him, and I know he does not like Giordano's at all. So it was a lot of he got caught up in it, and a lot of people in the mentions had our back of like, "Nah, here's a couple things that this story doesn't quite mesh."
So to be clear, by that point, it became playful.
Correct.
Okay, there was no heat between any of the people involved at this point. It was clearly playful, and then eventually you went to some press event and met him, and then it became all water under the bridge.
Right. Well, actually, there was something in between that bridged the gap and actually caused a good DM conversation that led eventually to All In. We were discussing Michael Jordan. And this is like a perfect Twitter conversation. Me and somebody else were talking about Michael Jordan and how big of a star he was. And some guy from the UK, and it's always some guy from Britain or the UK, chimed in and said, Michael Jordan had nothing. It was not a big star anywhere but America. And that's just objectively not true.
Obviously a preposterous comment that we don't even need to debate.
Correct.
So we can just move on with the story.
Yeah, we're going to move on with the story. And Cody jumped into the mentions. It was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been around the world, and Michael Jordan's gigantic all around the world. And then I was like, thanks for having my back, Cody. He's like, yeah, no problem. He's like, that's ridiculous. Then him and I just had this, we had that discussion. We're like, I mean, I was in Italy. Yeah, I was in Italy too. I saw a giant banner of him. I've been in Barcelona. I've been here. Cody's saying everywhere that he's been, and he says he's from America, and people still say, oh, like Michael Jordan, right? Yeah. So that,
and then I remember Cody was like, those fucking Brits with their teeth.
Right. I was like, all right, here we go.
He didn't say that, to be clear. He didn't say that. I have to say that, Rich, because it'll be on Reddit tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes, Cody. The next time they do a show in the UK, he's going to get massive heat. Yeah, we don't want to do that. So
those goddamn limeys with their bad teeth.
Right. Z said, did TJP interrupt the conversation to talk about Kobe? Most likely, yes. Probably yes. I don't remember,
That's probably true.
I don't remember, but yes, he did. Yeah. I'm sure. But.
And he probably also put us on a passive aggressive Twitter list of non-ball knowers, which he likes to do.
But it would be called like it was so passive aggressive.
Something of that ilk.
No, but it'd be like really smart basketball guys or whatever, and that was it was supposed to take
super
you
sarcastic.
down.
Super sarcastic. Yeah.
Oh, these guys know ball. They're smart. Right. And it'd be because you were like, I don't know. I think LeBron's better than Antoine Jameson. I don't know. That's just me. But TJ, that would get you on the TJP list. That would get you on the list. So I don't know that JJ Hickson's going to lead the Cavs to a title the same way LeBron did, but maybe I'm wrong.
Listen, TJ, I don't think you could just plug in Luol Deng's stats and have them replace LeBron, which was a real take.
That was a real take, yeah. That post LeBron, the Cavs would be better when he went to when he left which one is this?
There's the Miami. It's all the way back then.
Is it all the way back? My God, we've been arguing.
When did
with
he
TJP.
go to Miami? He went to Miami 2013, right?
2011, 2012.
That would be.
God, we were arguing with TJP that long. All right, geez, where is time gone? But yeah, the idea was that LeBron would leave the Cavs, but they would be better without him. Oh, right, because Antoine Jameson was there. Yeah, and the idea was they're not going to lose much because Antoine Jameson can just fill in LeBron's stats, and we were like, I don't know. Good.
Yeah, he's like, well. He's like, when you look at it, Luol Deng only averaged 3 less rebounds, 2 less assists, 4 less points. So, Luol Deng could just step right in and replace him, was the idea.
Right. Yeah, Antoine will step up.
That was the Heat. That's when he left the Heat.
Yeah. Antoine Jameson will. Yeah, when he left the Heat, it was LeBron. Luol's going to go to the Heat, and they're not going to miss a beat. Dwayne will be there, Bosh will be there, and Luol Deng will be there. And they'll be fine.
He used the same argument twice for 2 different players.
That's
First,
right.
It was Antoine Jameson, and then it would be Luol Deng, who would just step right in and replace the production of LeBron James.
Which is great because the Cavs won. They won like 18 games the year after he left, after winning like 60 games when he was there. And the Heat, I want to say, I forget about the Heat one. That I think they fell on their face pretty bad in the post LeBron era. But let's see here. They went from 54 wins to 37 wins the next year with Luol Deng as their top win share haver. Though problem though, Joe, like you said, stats. So LeBron James the year prior, his win shares were 15.9. Luol Deng stepped right in, filled the gap. 5.4 win shares. So a little less.
Right, but how many less assists? That's the important.
Right, just a couple. Yeah.
So then that led to you meeting Cody face to face at a press event, and it was all chuckles and laughter because it was really playful banter beyond a certain point with all of this. None of this was. I don't want anyone to think any of this was mean spirited, but it was volleying back and forth because each side knew the other was paying attention.
Correct.
And let me tell you something. And let's be fair to Cody. Not many other people were paying attention to us at that time. So thank you for paying attention to us when almost no one else was. And, he's listening to this dopey podcast. We were the Bozo show that I referenced earlier.
The Bozo Micropod. Yeah, that was us.
We were the Bozo Micropod. But again, that's kind of my point. There's no reason to be thin-skinned about this stuff when you won everything. You're the winner. And as to circle all the way back before this thing went off the rails. Yeah, I mean, if Cody picked the right spot, he can come back to AEW. And anyone who don't thinks that theme song wouldn't blow the roof off of any building in AEW, and the vast majority of the fan base wouldn't see it as a massive star returning. He's still arguably the biggest star in the sport, is out of their mind. Now, there would be a certain portion of the AEW fan base who will never accept him again.
Of course.
For good reason, because he will be seen as someone who was completely full of shit, with all of his But that's just getting burned by pro wrestlers. They're all completely full of shit. But we all get burned from time to time when we believe in what these guys have to say. But they're going to see him as someone who was completely full of shit and really wasn't part of the movement because he chose to go back and has completely embraced being back and all of those things. But again, especially Cody, these guys are always working to their audience.
Of course.
Especially Cody. Okay, that guy is a worker's.
He's his father's son, workers. For God's sake.
You work to your audience, and that's just, people believed in CM Punk and got burned. People believed in Cody and got burned. But here's the thing. There is a portion of the fan base who's not going to accept him, and they're going to insist that he doesn't. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, he knows he's the biggest star in the world, and he knows he can come back to that company. And his ego understands that he's the one that could help them turn things back around. And then he could win again. Don't think for 1 second he doesn't know that or think that. Of course he does.
It's a fun challenge. Like I said, eventually he's just going to get bored of WWE or whatever, or the WWE's going to get bored of him. Something's going to happen, and he's going to take that on as another challenge, another bet on myself. You know what? Let me see if I can do it one more time. Let me see if I can do it again. Because, I did it the first time. I jumped from WWE. I went to the Indies. I created this thing, and I bet on myself again. I left that thing, and I went to WWE. I went back to WWE, and it worked. Why wouldn't you want to bet on yourself again? Especially at that point in your career, you're well-established, late 40s, early 50s, wherever he might be at that point. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you just say, let's see if I can do it one more time?
And that's the thing. The clock might tick out on this, and we might never see it. But it wouldn't stun me at all if he went back there. Because as much as it seems like there's a ton of bad blood with him talking about disrespect and all these rumors flying around of what really happened between him and Tony Khan, it's pro wrestling. And if CM Punk can go back to WWE and take a mark pick with Paul Levesque, and if, you can name your wrestler historically who it looked like the bridge was burned, can go back to wherever it was where the bridge was burned, Cody can go back to AEW. So it wouldn't stun me at all if it happens. And in fact, if I had to bet on it, I would say that it will probably happen. Neither would stun me, though. If he never goes back, I don't think that would really surprise me either. But, things change fast in this business, and these guys are opportunists. They're workers, and when there's an opportunity to make more money or do something that will reflect well on you, these guys jump on. So I don't know. Do we have anything else to add about this situation? Now it becomes a fun wait and see if these guys get asked about it again, and it'll be one of these ongoing stories. Will the true story ever come out? What happened between these guys? I don't know. I think it's plausible that Punk making more than him sort of matches the words he had to say in this Bill Simmons interview, right? Disrespect. I built this thing.
Right.
I will prove to you that those all line up with he was annoyed that other people were making more money than him. So I think that's
maybe possibly
speculation.
Given better titles or given more, because that's always been speculated about as well. Is that did CM Punk, when he was eventually brought in, did he get some points in it? Did he get a title? Did he get something like that? And little by little, and this has been discussed by Kenny, the Bucks, and Cody as well, that they came in as with the the EVPs and the big titles and stuff, and then little by little that power kind of got taken from them. The booking power got taken away, and then little by little they were just kind of guys on the roster that might have had good titles, but then it's possible that also was his thing. Feeling disrespected there.
And I think it's also clear at this point that CM Punk had some sort of deal above and beyond just being a talent.
Right.
So maybe he was bothered by that aspect of it too. This guy who didn't have the balls to jump in at the beginning with the rest of us, waited for it to be a success, then decides to hop on board, and you're going to give him some sort of whatever employee position as well. All of these things could have been. But again, this is just pure speculation
we don't
at this
know.
point. But I could see him being annoyed about that too. Like a lot of these situations, I don't think it's fair to just approach him from black and white. I could see his side on a lot of this.
Of course.
And I could see Tony, and if this is how it played out, I could see Tony's side. Look, I have to pay CM Punk more than you, or we don't get him, right? And then the guy comes in and instantly delivers monster ratings and fills up houses. So you could even justify it from that standpoint. But I could see Cody's side, where it's, I need to be making $1 more than him. It's only fair. I built this thing.
Yeah, sports teams go through the same thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You have an established player that helps get you to a certain level. You sign a free agent. That free agent makes more than that guy. And he goes, well, what the fuck? Hold on a minute. I've been here for 8 years. Why is that guy making more than me?
And in this situation, it's not CM Punk's fault or Bryan Danielson's fault or anyone's fault if they got more money than him. So you leave them out of it. They're just, so I get it. I totally get it. And if he felt disrespected and then basically told Tony, look, I don't want to be here. Don't exercise. And that could have been how it played out. He could have said, hey, look, don't exercise that option. Because Tony loves to put the team options on these contracts. Okay. He learned that from sports. These team options, which have come into play in a lot of people's different situations. Ricky Starks, a few others as well. And, Cody may have said, hey, look, I don't want to be here. Don't exercise that team option, and let's just have a handshake deal to just never talk about any of this, and that could be how we got here. And now we see what happened. I mean, I don't want to do a segment where we're constantly repeating ourselves, but Cody clearly won. I mean, let's call it like it is. I mean, the guy he not only won, he won 59-0. I mean, he just completely
it was a blowout. Yeah, it's been a blowout. Yeah,
it couldn't have been worked out more perfect for him. Except, I'll tell you what. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone who you just knew couldn't get over their ex?
Of course. Yeah.
I think we all have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you just get the sense and they don't even know they're doing it, but they give you all these clues that they are just not over their ex. Yeah. And you're thinking to yourself, well, this is doomed. When this sex ceases to be exciting, I'm out of here.
In a couple months, this is going to be pretty bad. This is going to not be that fun anymore. Yep.
When this is boring, when we hit that wall, that's my sign to get out because this person is not over their ex. Cody is very clearly still not over his ex, and he still holds some kind of emotions. As the kids say on the street, Rich, he feels a certain kind of way about AEW. It's very clear. Because that's why he's gotten to by all of this. And that's why every time he talks about this stuff, he makes it a point to say, let's not forget who built this. Mm-hmm. Let's not forget I'm the one who built it.
Which in and of itself is a little disrespectful to Tony because, look, you guys did a lot of really good stuff. No doubt about it. You did All In. You were a big part of All In. The Bullet Club, Bullet Club getting hot and you being able to attach yourself to the Bullet Club and then take that Bullet Club to another level and Kenny being able to do what he was doing and New Japan. There's a lot of things that had to happen, but none of it happens if you don't have a billionaire, Smark that's willing to give you a bunch of money to buy this thing and has connections to TV. You know what I mean? Like he says we, and he never, and you can tell from his words, he doesn't mean Tony. He feels like Tony kind of intruded on it, and it's like, brother, that shit doesn't happen without Tony too. I mean, it needs to be everybody involved, but that's why I think to include Tony as well.
Sure, and I think that's why there's a decent chance he goes back because I think he still loves the place, and he loves what he built, and I think he
still feels very accomplished by it. And he has said that a lot. That he still feels like, God damn it, I left this place and I went and I created something. And look what's going on over there. Whether we're beating their ass or not, they still exist. And that's because of me in some part.
I think he just hates if people forget that he deserves some credit.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's a definite possibility that one day he ends up going back because I think he feels like, he even made an interesting comment. And again, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something else that was kind of a tip off. And you have to read between the lines when you listen to these kind of interviews and these quotes. But he even mentioned that when he said he felt disrespected in AEW, he said, in WWE, when they do things to disrespect you, it's different because they're a big company and they've been here for decades and it's whatever.
They're the Yankees.
And
he said, when it happens to them, it's one thing because they're the Yankees. They're the established one.
And that shows you he doesn't love the place he's in because it doesn't hurt him when they treat him like a number. He's just like, whatever, man, I'm making my money. I'm winning. I'm proving my point. And this is just what they do. And that's how a lot of people take that company. They just roll their eyes and move on, right? But it hurt him emotionally when he felt disrespected in AEW. Again, relate this to being with someone who's not over their ex. They're still hurt emotionally by their ex. You can forget to call them back, and they're not going to have those same kind of feelings towards you because they're still thinking about their ex. And that's kind of the situation that could. It's so obvious that he still has an attachment to AEW, and that fuels a lot of this thin skin behavior. Why is he even? You could even use the old Cody gif of his ear where they zoom in while he's cupping his ear. Why is he even paying attention to what's going on in AEW? If he's just, if you know what I mean?
I'd be so above that. Let go. Yeah, I'd be so above that if I were him, but he can't. Yeah.
He cannot let go. So, that's fueling a lot of this. He still loves it
there. Like you said, like the X, you still kind of, there's still some love there. There's still a fire burning in there for sure. You can tell.
Man, hey, let me tell you, speaking of Bozo Micropod, you show me another podcast that gets into these kind of topics with this kind of depth. Right. This was such a great segment. We're like really great at this.
We're not bad. I think we're okay.
We're not. We're great. We're really great at this. This is good. You're bringing out pompous Joe Lanza now. I'm really feeling myself here. This was some segment. I'm doing the segment. Like, I'm literally doing the segment, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, man, I love this segment as a listener, even though I'm the one providing the audio. That's some sick behavior right there. That is some sick-ass behavior.
But let's talk SummerSlam since we're on topic of WWE and Collision is still going on. We'll wait for the live listeners. We'll give them a little bit, and then we'll do the Thursday Dynamite review. Let's talk about SummerSlam this weekend, though, because we did just get an update. And I want to start with the business end, then we'll get to the shows themselves. The business end of SummerSlam this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Saturday, it looks like tickets distributed right now per WrestleTix. This is an hour ago here on July 31st. 48,077 distributed. The setup is 50,088. So there's still about 2,000 or so tickets out there. You would imagine with walk up, they're going to get probably over 50,000 for sure on Saturday. So that is a pretty decent number there. And then Sunday, they have distributed 51,672 for a setup of 53,000, just a little over 53,000 as well. So they might get to that, but they're already over 50,000, trending to 52,000, 53,000 in that range for Sunday. So back-to-back nights at MetLife Stadium. And yeah, for all the we've had these discussions as well this year about a little softening of WWE's business and the ratings and some of the Netflix stuff.
Which is all real. But it's all real.
Big time stadium show, big time SummerSlam, whatever that name or whatever that brand still means, whatever those guys still mean, it's still back-to-back nights of probably putting 50,000 in the building. Yeah, it's pretty good. You can't.
These are massively successful shows. Obviously, they're not going to match. They're not going to come anywhere close to what they did to WrestleMania. They're not going to come anywhere close to filling these buildings. You cannot knock shows that are drawing 50,000 fans on back-to-back nights. These are going to be two of the most successful pro wrestling shows of all time. And that's become sort of whenever WWE has these big shows, we're repeating ourselves on that point because they just keep pumping them out. They're still able to do tens of millions of dollars in gate when they go to these giant stadiums for these back-to-back nights. So you can't knock them from that standpoint. Is their business softening? Yeah, I mean, clearly it is. But they're still massively successful and they're not anywhere near the point where you're showing like serious concern with the softening of the bit. The Netflix numbers, I don't even think they're spin anymore. I mean, Netflix can say how happy they are all they want. Maybe they are. I don't know. But there is no spin to me. I don't think any of us thought, even the least optimistic of all of us or the biggest WWE haters you could find, thought that they would be doing this few viewers worldwide on Netflix. I mean, it's bad.
It's lower than I thought. I was pretty pessimistic about it, but it's even lower than I thought. And the way that I always think about that is I don't know that necessarily Netflix is super upset about it. Netflix is probably like, whatever. We get 52 weeks and consistent, Raw is consistently sort of in the top 10. The rest of the shows don't chart at all. So we have no idea how anybody is watching any of the other shows. The pay-per-views are not doing well at all. Royal Rumble charted, WrestleMania charted a little bit, but other than that, nothing else has charted pay-per-view wise. None of the other big shows are charting, any of that sort of stuff. But I wonder from WWE's standpoint, if maybe that is a thing where they're like, oh, geez, we're not going to grow on Netflix. Like, no one's going to find us on Netflix. Like, we have our core audience, and that's who they are. But who is going to discover us on Netflix? If we can't even get our hardcore fans to watch us on Netflix, who the fuck's going to discover us on Netflix? And I think that could really be, and that might be a rubber meet the road thing in a couple of years. It's clearly not the case right now. But yeah,
no, and they're going to take the money,
of course,
and and they figure they have the SmackDown presence, but that on cable TV and. Isn't that always the debate though of whether you're going to paywall something? It's like, all right, but you could stunt your growth, right? So it's
and that's
something
sports.
a lot of.
It's going to be a huge sports thing in the coming years. I mean, F1 is about to leave ESPN, where they've really. I mean, that's a huge reason why Formula One. You know, it Drive to Survive obviously helped on Netflix, but being able to turn on ESPN on a Saturday or Sunday morning or whatever, Saturday, and be able to watch commercial free Formula One on ESPN, which everybody has, was really easy. But now it's going to be on Apple, and I don't know if. I know you follow this show. You follow the media business as well. Nobody has Apple TV Plus. Nobody has it. A couple people will subscribe to it to watch one show, usually Severance or Ted Lasso or whatever, but consistently Apple TV Plus, nobody opens the app and nobody subscribes to it. It is irrelevant. Yet every time you do get the app for the one show you want to watch, there's 15 movies and 15 TV shows featuring top actors that you're like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of this. And they're all Idris Elba. They're all Elba. He's in 7 shows that you've never heard of. You're like, what are these?
Yeah, it's John Hamm and Idris Elba.
John Hamm and the other one. There's 4 John Hamm movies. And you're like, what the hell are these? I've never heard of any of these. Who's watching these? They're
in 47 shows each. They just keep recasting these guys. They hire these expensive stars. The scripts are terrible. The stars shrug their shoulders.
Do you actually watch some
of
these?
They're horrendous.
Okay,
the stars will shrug their shoulders and say, "I'll take the money and do another
take the $55 million to do some stupid show that nobody watches."
Show that'll never get to a season 2. And some of them have been critical hits. I mean, they're not all, but a lot of them, it's like no one's heard of these shows. But no, Apple TV Plus. Dan Greenspan, who is a real world AP reporter in the sports world, who's a listener, he notes in the chat that Apple TV Plus is killing MLS.
Yeah.
And he's someone who that's his line of work. He knows what he's talking about. So there's always that kind of debate, paywall, no paywall, take the money. Okay. But it could cut off. And maybe long-term, that's a problem. Maybe after 5 years, Netflix, here's the thing. Netflix can say whatever they want. Okay. And a good partner is going to, now look, Fox would routinely say how you could very clearly tell how Fox wasn't happy with SmackDown because they never couched their comments all that much. You know what I mean?
Because Lachlan, whatever his name, Lachlan Murdoch wouldn't stop telling you about how disappointed they were in WWE.
Right. But, oftentimes a partner will tell you how happy they are even when they're not. Here's where the rubber meets the road. When that 5-year out comes up.
Yeah.
If they use that escape hatch after 5 years, we know that the numbers are not to their satisfaction or their expectations. If they renew and keep on, then they're not lying. Then they have met whatever their internal expectations are. What I'm telling you is we all know as wrestling fans, we all think that's an extraordinarily low number of worldwide viewers for Raw every week.
Yeah.
Just from a standpoint of, I thought it'd be way more. I mean, I thought the initial numbers were low when they started off quote unquote high. I thought they were low for worldwide.
I think what it tells, and we've been saying this from day one too, is it's I think the idea that WWE is this global brand is very overrated. And we see just how much of that global brand is still American based and that America is really the one that drives everything. And I think you see that from the pay-per-views, which do not chart. Pay-per-views just do not chart. And obviously a big chunk of the American audience is not watching it on Netflix. They're watching it on Peacock or whatever.
Yep. Has to be noted.
Yeah. So when you see these pay-per-views and they're like, oh, that didn't chart either. I mean, Royal Rumble charted, WrestleMania Night 2, I think charted, and I think Elimination Chamber may have snuck in there, and nothing since then has. Not a single thing.
So you're looking at it from the standpoint of that's even more proof that this worldwide brand, this global brand stuff is a bunch of nonsense, because when you remove USA, there's really nothing happening.
Yeah, you can't find it. It's not. It's just it. Right. Yeah, it doesn't chart anywhere.
Right. No, it's valid, but look, they could still kind of fill football stadiums 2 nights in a row and do gigantic fucking all-time gates.
Right. Yeah, by the way, the cheapest ticket for SummerSlam both nights, $81. So
yeah, and they're charging exorbitant prices, and that's why the gates are so high. So you can't look, wrestling ebbs and flows. We all know that. And they're not as hot as they were at their peak, but that doesn't mean that they're cold. People really have to pump the brakes on some of that. Not that there's much of it, but when tribalism comes into play, you do hear some stupid things. There's still an incredibly vibrant business. And we're having those ebbs and flows, and we'll see. We'll see. Something could happen that could re-spark them at any moment too. I mean, that's just how pro wrestling works.
So here we go. Let's just go over the 2 nights here real quickly. Night 1 on Saturday. This is an interesting. So the way that they've booked this is one night is filled with gimmick matches, and the other night has no gimmick matches. And there's a little more star power on one night, but I don't know. They're 2 interesting cards, and it feels like they could have mixed them up a little bit more. And I'm very curious on your thoughts of what they went for when they split these cards up, because I'm sure it was a big thought about what goes on what show or whatever. But night 1, okay. So night 1 is going to have Jey Uso and Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. So that is the return of Roman Reigns here on night 1, and just a straight tag match, teaming with Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. You also have the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, the Judgment Day, defending against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. You have Drew McIntyre, who is in the country now. There was a little bit of a worry at the beginning of the week that he wouldn't be able to get into the country. Apparently, he is here. He's teaming with Logan Paul against Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. I know you cannot wait to discuss Jelly Roll and Randy Orton as a tag team. Sami Zayn.
Let's go!
Uh-oh.
Let's go!
You're really excited about Jelly Roll. I didn't know you were that excited about Jelly Roll and Randy Orton, but all right. Then talk about Jelly. I'm just going to assume that was nothing to do with the Cincinnati Reds, your favorite baseball team, and everything to do with Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. So the floor is yours, Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. Go for it.
Bro. Down 11-3 in the 8th.
Oh.
3 games behind in the wild card. Look like you're going to go 3.5. It's 11-3. Bottom of the 8th. They score 8 runs without recording it out to tie it at 11. Spencer Steer, 3-run homer to tie the game at 11 in the bottom of the 8th. It's, got to get another one here.
Holy shit, I'm looking at this box score. In the 8th inning, the Braves scored 8 and the Reds came back with 8 of their own?
With 8 of their, and there's still no outs.
Oh my God.
Not only that, look at this. You want some subplots? They traded for Cabrian Hayes yesterday.
Yeah.
Who is without question statistically the best third baseman on earth, like from a fielding standpoint. He makes a 2-run error at third base in his first game with the Reds to allow the Braves to tie the game. So he started this 8th inning with a 3-run homer. And it just continued on. They've scored 8 runs in this 8th. There's still nobody out, and they tied the game at 11 after an 8-run top of the 8th, put the Braves ahead 11-3. I love this team. I went to Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago, and when I walked up to the stadium, I teared up. I mean, I've spent so many of my summers just watching every one of these stupid fucking games, and I got emotional. And my wife got this. She didn't tell me. She took this picture. I think I showed you that picture.
Yeah.
Of me we're gonna get that shit framed. And man, I love this fucking team. I mean, I can't believe what I'm watching right now.
When you love a baseball team, or you have a baseball team you can love, there's nothing like it. I haven't had it in quite a while, so I don't remember that. I remember parts of that feeling, but it's been a while. But yeah, there's nothing like it. A good basketball team is one thing. A good football team it's something else with a baseball team. When you have a team you love, a baseball team you love, it's like nothing else.
Now watch them lose 13-11, but I mean, and last night the same, Spencer Steer ties it with the 3-run homer. Last night, bottom of the 8th, he has a 11 pitch at bat with 7 foul balls with the bases loaded and 2 outs before he hits a 2-run triple to win them the game. And now tonight he hits the 3-run homer. I mean, there's just, sometimes in sports you feel the magic start to happen. You know what I mean? It's just a certain, again, watch them lose, 13-11 now. But, man, I'm feeling the feels. That's all.
Oh, it's an MLB Network game. I'm going to put it on as well.
This wasn't 4-3. They just scored 8 runs, Rich. Well, I couldn't contain myself.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, when you're down, when you give up 8 runs and then you come back and put 8 runs up, you can cheer. That's worth it.
I mean, holy shit. Anyway, no, I was not that excited. Okay, I was like, the timing with Jelly Roll. The timing.
I know your wife listens to Jelly Roll, but I'm like, maybe you've been smitten after that vacation. Maybe you got smitten with the Jelly Roll, but no.
I mean, this has the potential to be an all-time win for the franchise, especially if they were ever to sneak into the playoffs, follow. But anyway, we got a wrestling show to do, and man, Heavy shit, man. All right.
Sami
Jelly
Zayn
Roll.
and Karrion Kross. Now we'll move on from Jelly Roll. We'll go back to Jelly Roll if we need to. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. Women's title match, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. And then Gunther versus CM Punk for the WWE World Heavyweight title. So that is night one, which I thought was interesting booking. So you get Roman Reigns back. But otherwise, a little bit more of your star power probably on night two. But you're kind of also thinking, hey, you got Roman back. You got CM Punk there. You got Gunther. You have a celebrity thing with Jelly Roll. But it's interesting that all those matches are basically just straight up normal ass matches featuring a couple of stars here and there and a guest, celebrity or whatever. And then you go to night two, and we'll go back and kind of recap this a little bit. Night two, almost all gimmicks. Up and down the card. So you have a WWE Tag Team title 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match. I already hate this match. And I can tell you really why I hate it. The Wyatt Six are your WWE Tag Team title holders. Did you know that? I don't think I knew that. Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy, the Wyatt Six, are your champions. They'll be defending against Andrade and Rey Fenix, the Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, the Street Profits, and Fraxium in a 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match. I don't know.
I think the theme with this card is I don't think this is a buzzy show. I don't know if
it feels cold. No, it feels cold.
I don't know if a lot of our listeners, and granted it's our listeners and we don't exactly have the biggest WWE audience, would even have known any of the matches on this card because it just doesn't feel buzzy at all. And even their fan base, I don't think is wild about what they're going to see on, excited about what's coming up on these two nights. So, this Gunther CM Punk world title match, did you mention that? I think you mentioned
I just did. Yeah. But we can go back to that. Night one, main event per Punk, by the way.
You went through night one. You didn't go through night two yet, right?
I did not. But
right. So this is a good, so that's my point. Like this Punk Gunther world title match has there's just no buzz. And it's going to be in front of 50,000 people and CM Punk's involved. And it's a little rough, Rich. It's Jade Cargill. Everybody seems to think she's going to win the title on this show, and it's because it's now or never to get anything out of her.
Yeah.
And you've got the whole Jelly Roll stuff with the mainstream trying to drum up some interest. Yeah. So anyway, night two.
Night two. We'll go back to night one here in a sec. But yeah, the 6-pack title with the TLC. Dominic Mysterio defending the IC title against AJ Styles. You have women, so that's just a normal match, but it is the title match. Women's Intercontinental title, no count-out, no disqualification match. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria, so they can hit each other with kendo sticks. WWE United States title steel cage match, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, a classic WWE steel cage match where how many people are going to run in and jump into this cage? Like 7, 8? 9, there's zero chance that this steel cage match does not feature many people running into the cage, jumping over the cage, getting in as much as possible. Triple threat Naomi defending the women's world title against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. And then your main event, which I think is even colder than Gunther and CM Punk, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, undisputed WWE title street fight. It's going to be a street fight, so they can hit each other with kendo sticks and stairs and tables.
Yeah. And as we talked about a million times, the Cena thing just hasn't worked. Again, this isn't from a non-WWE fan perspective. No one has enjoyed this.
It's just not working. And I honestly, I don't know what they're going to do, but it feels like, I don't know if you've watched some of the promos or some of the build. I think this is it. I think this is because Cody has challenged Cena. I don't want you to come out all mopey and all. I want the old John Cena. I want to prove that I can beat the old John Cena. So wear your best and bring the hat and wear your title the way you wear it and salute the fans. I want the old John Cena because I want to prove I can beat the old John Cena. I don't want to beat this new John Cena thing. So that's kind of what they've done this. So I do wonder if this is maybe now this is not going anywhere. It's not going well, and we have to make the most of these next couple of months because this is it for Cena. This is done for him. So we got to make sure that last half of the year we go back to getting something out of him because there's no juice whatsoever with John Cena right now. And I don't think the heel stuff's going to work much longer. It's barely working now. I mean, he comes out, he gets like mild cheers. He does this bad heel routine that nobody really buys. And it's all rough. It's just a really bad. I mean, nobody could have possibly predicted this thing to be as, like, you thought they had better ideas, right? Like, I believed they did. Did you? When they turned John Cena heel?
I don't know what they had planned, but I thought it'd be
Something
interesting.
It's not interesting. There's nothing. The greatest heel turn of all time. I said it at the time. Let's wait and see what the heel turn actually is before we call it the greatest heel turn of all time. And let's be honest, it's not very good. It's not very good at all, because all he's done is make funny faces and mope around and pretend that he doesn't want to be here. And then they've kind of reformatted the character to now he's kind of a cocky asshole, but he's also kind of a coward. It's just all not working. It's not working at all, and they have no good ideas for it. So yeah, it's time to just hit eject on that and get whatever you can get for the last 6 months of John Cena and forget this all ever happened.
So I want your take on Lyra Valkyria, because I have spoken about this on some audio. I don't think you ever talk about WWE unless it's with me, but I am baffled by this one. I think she's fine, but that's kind of the thing. I just think she's fine. These fans have taken to her. Now, I get it. She has a yeet. They like to make the bird sound.
She does the bird thing. Yeah, she comes out and flaps her wings. And if you think we're lying, so she comes out with wings and flaps them. We're not lying about any of that.
So in this company, if you have a yeet, it's half the battle.
Right. Io's got the yeet. Io points to her face and goes, ah, and that's her yeet.
Right. So they all look for a yeet because these fans are simpletons.
Right, Jacob Fatu has a yeet now too.
Just tell it like it is.
Yeah.
Their fans are simpletons, and they want to do what they want to do. Everybody's yeet. If you have a singable theme or if you have a yeet, that's half the battle. So she has a yeet, but I don't think it's just the yeet with her. They've really taken to her, and to be fair, Becky Lynch and others have really gotten behind the idea of trying to get her over because they like her. And her wrestling is fine and it's good enough. She's never blown me away. I don't think she's anything close to being like a great wrestler, but she's competent. I don't think she has a great look. I don't think she has outstanding charisma. But how has she managed to have this sort of, okay, I think number one, she has a yeet. That's obviously a factor.
Big part.
But she didn't always have a yeet. Number two, anyone they get behind, they have that thing that we always say promotions want to have, where it's like your fans will buy into anything that you tell them is that they should be buying into. AEW had that at one point. WWE has it now to a lesser extent than when they were super hot, but she's gotten the push, so you get the fan buy-in. But that shouldn't just always automatically work. I think she's a straight 5 out of 10 in everything. So am I just off base on my assessment of her, or why do you think she is so over? I don't get it.
I think you and I are pretty similar on this as well, and I've had this similar take that I think, you have that term "just a guy" for your Ethan Pages of the world, and those guys that are we say a jag, we'll say a jag, and people think we're being mean, and then people they have to clue them in. Okay, no, that's a Flagship thing that they didn't mean just a guy. I feel like Lyra is just a girl. Or just a woman, whatever you want to call it. Jaw, we'll call her Jaw.
Well, Jag, just a guy, just a girl.
It'll work.
For what is it, an acronym? What do they call that?
Yeah, acronym.
I'm not a fucking English lit major, but yeah, you could say it because it works for the letters.
Right. So we'll go with girl. Just a girl. That's what I think she is. You said 5 out of 10. I'll say I think that it's the two things like you said. I think she's got a yeet. She comes and flaps her wings, and the fans flap their wings because, again, no, we're not lying about any of this. If you haven't watched WWE in a while, you haven't seen a Lyra Valkyria entrance, that's what she literally comes out in wings and flaps them, and the crowd flaps their wings along with them. So, yes, that is actually a thing that happens. So that's a big part of it. And I think, like you said, the buy-in, and that is a great thing that Paul Levesque has been able to do over the last couple of years. Now, it's waned a little bit, but it's still there enough that for years and years and years, Vince McMahon was openly antagonistic to his fans. And if they got behind a guy, he said, fuck you. That guy's not getting pushed anymore. I'm not doing it. They're behind Zack Ryder. Fuck them. They don't know what they're talking about. We're not going to push Zack Ryder anymore. Oh, you like Dolph Ziggler? Screw that. We're not openly. Like if the crowd got behind a person, they didn't. And so the crowd they didn't really get behind anybody because they knew, fuck, Vince is just going to screw with it or whatever. And Vince would say, hey, this is the guy you're supposed to cheer. This is the guy you're supposed to like. This is the guy. And the crowd, and there was 10 years or so where it was like openly antagonistic, push-pull between the fans and Vince McMahon. Paul Levesque comes in and I think instantly transforms that by saying, no. Oh, we listen to our fans and we care what our fans think or whatever. And you do that for a little bit and then the fans buy into everything that you do. And and AEW had that for a long time too. And that's good. That's where you want to. I'm not putting down WWE. I'm not putting down but that's exactly what you want as a wrestling company to say. Our fans, if we say that this person is pushed and should be cared about, and you should care that this person's in front of you and you should care that we're pushing this person, they'll do it. And that is kind of where I think Lyra Valkyria is at this point, is that Becky Lynch is clearly an ally and clearly wants Lyra Valkyria to become a star, sees a lot of herself in Lyra Valkyria, sees herself as the next generation, is interested in getting her to that next level. So Becky is going to do whatever she can to get Lyra to that point. And WWE seems like they're kind of on board as well of, okay, we're going to push her. We're going to push her as a big time star, as the next generation of women coming up. So the fans just kind of buy into that. But I'm with you. That bell rings and I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. She's, to me, very easily replaceable. There's a number of women you could put in the exact same spot, bell to bell, that would be completely irreplaceable. And I don't think she has that much charisma either. I just think she flaps her wings and that's her yeet and that works. But I think some other woman could come and do a jig and the jig gets over and then it's like, oh, okay, cool. That's the thing now. Their thing now is the jig and now that's her yeet. So I don't know. I've never seen it either. So I'm kind of with you. And I hear a lot of people be like, no, she's incredible. And every time I watch her, I've watched a lot of her matches. I've seen all the big matches and I never see it.
She's fine.
Perfectly capable wrestler. Yeah. She's not Jade Cargill. Right. She's good-ish, but she's not great. She's not anything. I mean, she's fine. She's perfectly replaceable.
I just, maybe we're the ones missing the boat here.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm open to that. I'm not always right. I mean, I'm usually right. Let's be honest. But I'm not always right. I'm right 98% of the time. Could this be part of the 2%? I don't know. But I figured I'd bring that up because that's another one who's probably going to win, right? You'd think she would win that match.
I would think, yeah.
So I don't know. You got anything else on night 2? I know now we've got, that great Io. Did you ever get around to watching the Io Sky Rhea Ripley match that was ruined by the cash in?
I did.
That I went mental about on the solo flagship.
Mm-hmm. What ruined it more than anything, and it did ruin it. I mean, the cash in absolutely ruined it. But you talked about it on that solo flagship, and it just infuriated me watching this. We have so lost the plot of these Money in the Bank cash-ins, because this crowd is leaping up and down cheering, yes, Naomi's cashing in. And it's like, no, the whole point is, oh my God, we've lost it. We've lost the plot. You're supposed to think she's an asshole for cashing in. She ruined a good match. She snuck in through the back door and she's winning the title. You should not want that. But
no, she deserves it, Rich.
She deserves it. And I'm just like, fuck, we've lost the plot. Like the whole point of the Money in the Bank when Edge first cashed it in was, look at this fucking asshole, sneaking in through the back door when John Cena was, beaten and battered after an Elimination Chamber match. And here he is, the ultimate opportunist, coming in and taking the cheap win and stealing the title. But now it's like, aha, she deserves it. She got it. I'm so glad, because these cash-ins happen and everybody cheers. And it's like, yeah, do it, cash in. I'm like, we've lost it. Go away. These have to go away forever now. We have to take these away forever. But yet, on both shows, it's a central.
Why would they go away? Look at how their fans respond to it.
Right. No, I get it. It's just,
they like this slop.
Yeah.
It's a new world, man. It's especially with their fan base. They like this slop.
But that was a really good match. And I was like, man, we're just having like a real good women's match between two good women, letting her go out there. Like, cause I always, me, I get mad that Rhea, I feel like, is not being utilized as much as she possibly can. But then I see this and I'm like, all right, here we go. It's Rhea Ripley just letting her out. And the Io Sky, she's great. You just let them wrestle. What do you get? Nope.
Well,
I got Money in the Bank is cashing in her Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and ruining a great match.
And being bad because she stinks.
Well, I got good news. She's going to ruin another match between these two because she's part of a 3-way with Io and Rhea at SummerSlam. So Clap, get into that. But I don't know. So anything else to say on these SummerSlam shows that I know you're excited to watch.
Can't wait to
spend all these hours this weekend.
Carve out 8 hours this summer weekend to watch SummerSlam. I would say, if you haven't seen the buildup of the CM Punk Gunther match, it's pretty interesting what they're doing here. And honestly, Punk's over about as much as he's been in his entire WWE run. And they've kept it kind of simple for the most part. Now, the reasoning behind Punk is very bizarre. So Gunther is just like, I'm the champion, you suck. That's about it. Gunther has nothing else to say to Punk. Punk is saying, I need this title. I have to have this title. I need to prove that I'm the best in the world, and that title proves that I'm the best in the world. And it's all so goofy because it's the stupid it's the disputed world title, right? It's the fake world title. And it's just like, come on, brother. And the worst, and this is how I know Punk is just totally dead behind the eyes in a lot of the ways. And he cut good promos because he's Punk and he could cut good promos. But he was in Detroit last week. And he said, just like the Detroit Red Wings need their 12th Stanley Cup, I need that world title. And I was like, you are a diehard Chicago Blackhawks fan. You don't want to fucking see the Red Wings.
Did he really say that?
Yes, he did. And that's how I knew this man is dead behind the eye.
Oh my God!
Because someone wrote that line. He's like, all right, fine.
He's just a complete and total fraud if he said that.
Because I was like, whoa, come on.
He would never say that.
No, a Blackhawks fan to a Red Wings fan.
Oh my God, that's even more fraudulent than working Saudi.
I agree. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God, Phil, you goddamn Mark, what the fuck? Like, come on, man. The guy with the Blackhawks avatars and all the Blackhawks jerseys and stuff being like, yeah, Detroit, you guys need a Stanley Cup. You know, it's just like, maybe he was saying that the town desires it, but he was pumping them up like, yeah, let's go Red Wings. And I was like, oh God, you've lost the entire plot here. But yeah, I'll be interested to see, because this is a good case. Because if you remember the last time we talked about Punk in a big time match, I brought up the idea of, are we sure Punk is still good? Are we sure Punk can still go? I mean, this is the best opportunity, because I think it's going to be mostly clean. And I say mostly because the central story here is Seth freaking Rollins. I don't know if he's still freaking anymore, but Seth Rollins saying it is my goal and my mission to make sure that Punk never wins that title, and I have the briefcase to ensure that he's never going to win the title. Now, obviously, he's hurt, maybe. We're not sure. So there is the looming specter of Seth Rollins and the briefcase there as well. So that sort of limits, again, like if I knew that Gunther and CM Punk would go out there and have a 25-minute match, I'd be very interested in it. But I know that it's probably not going to happen, and someone's going to interfere, someone's going to run in or whatever. So my expectations and my excitement about, hey, it's Gunther versus CM Punk in the main event of a SummerSlam, that sounds pretty cool, is tempered by whatever the fuck, Seth Rollins and his unit ends up doing. So.
Well, maybe they'll go out there and be on the verge of having an all-time great match, and then they'll do the cash in.
Yeah,
and
sure.
We could just do it 2 pay-per-views in a row.
And if people don't understand why, and we'll talk about it when we do our AEW thing, why I don't want fucking executed contracts and clipboards in AEW, it's this thing that we just talked about, how Naomi ruined a women's match, and now Seth is going, I'm going to make sure that you don't win the title because I have the Mr. Money in the Bank briefcase, and the briefcase got this little branding on it and shit. It's like, God damn it. I don't want this on both companies. Now, both companies have a bunch of people running around with briefcases talking about title shots.
Yeah, just be different than them.
A clipboard, and we're executing. We're cashing in our briefcase, and we're executing our clipboard contract.
Yeah, just be begging you, just be different than them.
Right. That's why I don't want it.
That's all. Just begging to be different. Just be different than them. But whatever. Not the show for that, I guess, until they actually execute the actual contract.
Right. Well, you'll see what the execution looks like there. But no, I have nothing else. I guess I would ask you: do you think Cody wins the title back from Cena, or do you think Cena wins and maybe wins as like the good guy and sees the light or whatever? Do you think Cody beats him? And that's how Cena sees the light. Or does Cena see the light? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't see the fucking light.
I have absolutely no feel for this. I don't know. I mean, the story is Cena's going to hold this title until he retires with it, right? That's kind of the heel Cena story. Is it too soon to end that? Maybe. Is it a bad idea to beat Cody here? And maybe you just get the title off of Cena now and then tell whatever story you're going to tell with him on the back half of the year. Maybe. I don't know. I have no feel for it. There's a lot of different directions they can go. The only thing I know is I don't give a shit about any of them.
That you do know.
That I know for sure. But do I know what they're going to? No, I don't have a good feel for what they're going to do. No.
Yeah. Well, there is the SummerSlam. Extensive preview there. So now you know you are ready for everything you could possibly need to know about the SummerSlam. All right, Joe, do you want to do the Thursday Dynamite review?
Sure. If that's where you want to take this thing.
I do want to take it there.
Let's do it.
I do want to take it there. So I will give you the floor if you want to introduce the Thursday Dynamite review as you usually do. Now, by the way, if you like what you hear in this here Thursday Dynamite review, you get this every single week on the $5 tier at flagshippatreon.com. Every single week, Joe recaps and reviews Dynamite.
I do.
best
Every
TV
week.
review in the game, I think.
It is. You want me to do the full on? You just do the whole gimmick?
I do the whole gimmick. Go for it.
Floor is mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Right after this. Okay.
I'm also watching it, and I know what you were waiting for. Yes, I was like, Joe's gonna wait to see what happens with this pop up.
I'm like, do they want to catch that one? Maybe, right? Maybe you let that one try, right?
Yeah,
it's an iffy
one out in the corner. Yeah. I saw it happening, and I was like, Joe's gonna wait. He's not gonna.
It's a tricky decision.
Yeah. That's when I let drop.
I don't think he runs on that one. I don't know if he runs on that one, though. It's a slow runner.
Who's that on third? Who got on third?
I think it's Matt Olson, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it's
That's
Matt
risky.
Olson.
You don't want to make that out there. That's a tough place to make that out.
You want to make him make a play, though. Make him make a play, especially on the road. It is Thursday, July 31st, 2025. I am Joe and Rich, and this is your Thursday. Dynamite review. Waiting for that 2-2 pitch. So Rich, did you bail out thinking there'd be a long pause? Am I
here.
Riding us into? Okay,
I'm
you're
here.
here.
Luckily, I don't know if it was anybody was able to hear it on the microphone. There's a very loud cricket next to my window. Right as midway through the long pause, the crickets just started going. I really hope. I'll add it in post. If not, I'll just add it in post because it was really good.
Just leave it. I think the crickets would be funny.
It was actually pretty funny. Yeah. No, I mean, I'll put it in post. If it didn't come in, I'm going to add the cricket in post because it was perfect. Because it was so long that then the crickets started going. And it was like, whoa, all right, this is really long. Even the cricket's coming. But anyway, fantastic long pause.
Thank you. Got to get my notes out here now. Not prepared here. All right. Where do you want to start? I think. People hear my opinions all the time. You want to open this baby up, or where you want to start here?
Well, I will say that you and I both were hoping that we were going to get the ratings by this point because I'm very interested in the ratings for this particular show because it's one of the big time spots for Hangman in there. Hangman and Moxley doing the rematch from All In, so that's an important match. So I was very curious what this did ratings wise, but unfortunately, it seems like we're a little delayed on the ratings. We just got the Tuesday ratings for NXT 3 hours ago. So I don't know what's going on with Nielsen. I don't know what holiday that we didn't know about, or everyone's on break, or I don't know what the heck's going on, or the guys are on vacation. So I've been checking throughout the show to see if the ratings did come in. They did not. So unfortunately, I do not think we're going to be able to discuss the ratings because I think that would have been a really, really fun show to discuss those ratings because it's a big time spot for Hangman Page as the champion. It's that rematch. So I was hoping we get it, but it does not look like we're going to get it. But I thought all in all it was a good show. I thought the pacing of the show, the way that they structured the show, I think is very interesting. And I think there were a lot of people surprised at how they structured it. But I think if you followed AEW and you follow the way that they like to do their ratings patterns and put their show together, I don't think it was super surprising that you basically started off the second hour with Page and Moxley. And it was not your main event of the night, but rather, those guys hit the ring at our time,
top of the hour. Yeah,
it was like 7:55. They were starting to make their entrances and they hit the ring right at the top of the hour. So that I found interesting. And that's an old trick too. That's an old Monday Night Wars trick too. If go back and watch old Nitros and old Raws or whatever, there would always be something very important at those hour breaks. That top of the hour would always be something, whether it be Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon on one screen, if it was a Hulk Hogan promo on the other screen, you always kind of got something big. You obviously had your big time main events or whatever, but they did not throw away that top of the hour. They always thought that to be very, very important. So I think that was kind of, as I was watching it, I'm like, whoa, interesting. We're doing Page and Moxley already, but then, look at the clock and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Why they would do it there. But no, I thought all in all it was a pretty decent show, but I can't say I'm super in love with a lot of the directions going on in AEW right now, and it just kind of feels like Forbidden Door season is always this very weird period where I never feel like they're really landing on all their stories, and I think we're in another kind of weird holding pattern with some of the stories in AEW right now, particularly when you factor in MJF, who's just kind of got 6 different stories going on at once, as per usual. And I think after Collision now and a little bit after Dynamite, I think we have a little bit more clear story of where Moxley's going, because I felt like we were still doing a little too much Hangman Page Death Rider stuff. But it felt like now after this Dynamite and now after Collision, I do feel like we finally moved off, and Moxley's going to be in his own little world with Darby now, which I think is the right move. So it feels like there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things are not in the right places, but I don't know. Maybe in the next couple of weeks it'll all make a little more sense. But I kind of feel like the summer and Forbidden Door is always this kind of way, where they're always a little disjointed leading up to that show. But yeah, all in all, I thought it was a decent show.
Yeah, you got to put that match. There's only 2 places to put that match: top of the hour or open up the show. Those are your 2 choices if you're trying to maximize viewers, maximize your rating. They chose to open the show with the Young Bucks, and they put the world title match at the top of the hour. So that's what they went with. I was hoping we would have the rating too. That's part of the reason that we pushed the review to the Flagship, because I think this is going to be a very interesting rating to see how that match did, to see how the overall rating of the show turned out with a huge world title match with the new world champion involved in it, and how their quarters performed. But unfortunately, we won't be able to break that down. But yeah, so why don't we just start at the top? I mean, we open up with the Bucks and the Outrunners. This is part of the tag team title tournament. And, as far as the Bucks with getting the jobber entrance.
I thought that was great. Yeah.
With the cutesy stuff. See, I'm over it. I think it's just, I roll my eyes at all this stuff now.
I like where they were already in the ring. I do like the already in the ring at this time. That I enjoyed. The graphics is a little too on the nose.
Cryon and the I don't know. I'm over this now. It's time to move on. I don't know. To me, it's corny. So it does nothing for me. But I am no fun Lanza, so that does kind of add up to some degree.
Why change now? Why change now?
Oh, we're gonna run ourselves out of this game. All right. Well, so much for that. But someone's gonna have to hit.
That's not where you want to make the out. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah.
Now, he did a good job getting caught in that rundowns, so the
guy could get the second.
So Hayes could get the second. So it's essentially the same as just a ground out to short. It's same effect.
By the way, MLB, we don't have express written consent. You're right, but we're not really doing play-by-play. We're not exactly doing play-by-play. We're reacting.
Yeah. So it was the same effect as the ground out to short. You just have a slightly slower runner at second now. Yeah. So. A good job there at least, but now you got to get a knock. I would now look, here's Steer. Now this is it. The last 2 nights, it would just complete the storybook ending here if he hit the 2-run homer to walk this off. That would definitely complete the storybook ending.
We'll definitely know. We'll definitely know on your end if that happens. But anyway,
we will 100% know if that happens. Yeah.
When are you guys at the racetrack? When's that game? Is that this weekend?
Yeah, it's this weekend.
That's gonna be awesome. Can't wait for that. Is that too gimmicky for you? Are you annoyed by that?
I couldn't give 2 shits about playing on a racetrack.
Come on, it sounds awesome.
I don't care.
You're 65,000 people there, big time crowd. You're at a racetrack.
Rich, I want to win the game.
Jeez.
I don't care. You could play in my backyard. I just want to win the game.
That'd be great. Why would you not be more excited? They played in your backyard?
They're gonna. Yep. No, down. Maybe the whole. Yeah, look. Maybe getting down your last out here is part of the magic here. Let's see. But anyway, yeah, I thought the Bucks and the Outrunners had it looks the Bucks. They're going to find a way to have a great match. They were the right winners, and I thought that their win got the good kind of heat because people booed when they won, but it wasn't in a we feel like we got screwed way. It was in a we're mad that these assholes won. It's the right kind of heat. It's the right kind of heat. And anyone who thinks the Outrunners should have won this match, they're out of their minds. There's no reason for the Outrunners to beat the Bucks here. It's getting a little too cute. The Outrunners are being pushed to the maximum that they should be pushed at this point. So I thought that everything about this worked, especially if you're still into the goofiness with, the Bucks stripped of the EVP stuff.
Yeah, I thought the match itself was really good, and the Outrunners. I've been. There was a time where they were a little too goofy for me, and I think you had similar thoughts as well that they got a little too goofy. I like that they're just subtly goofy now. You know what I mean? There's just enough goof there, and it feels like a team that, because there was a while there where you're like, I can't believe that these guys would be in the ring with any real teams and compete with any real teams, because it makes the real teams look even goofier that they're in there with these dorks or whatever. But they've shed some of that. They've been a little bit more serious. Now they're just kind of. They're over the top enough, but they don't feel totally like, unbelievable or anything. So I have enjoyed the Outrunners a little bit more as of late. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match, and I thought, like you said, the Bucks getting that win was the right kind of heat. And now people are like, we don't want to see these fuckers in this tag team title tournament. So I'm just curious where they're going to go with. Do you go all the way with the Bucks and have them win this thing? Do you have FTR win it? Like, I don't know where I go with this.
Well, you got to get to FTR versus the Hurt. I mean, that's where we're going, right?
I guess. Well, we're going to talk about the Hurt
Syndicate.
Syndicate here in a minute. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck we're doing with the Hurt Syndicate. I would love to know if you have any insights as to what the fuck we're doing with the Hurt Syndicate. I would love to be privy to it, because I don't know what we're doing.
I think I think all this stuff with MJF is the Hurt Syndicate going back baby to face heel FTR, right? I mean, that's what it seems like to me. Am I missing something?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't know what to do with the Hurt Syndicate anymore. I'm not sure. I mean, they're not heels anymore, clearly. I mean, that's done for now, I suppose. But yeah, I guess.
I mean, I think that's what this is and what we're being presented. I don't know if you think an FTR Hurt Syndicate feud is going to work or not. That's a different discussion, I guess. But I think that's where this tournament and all of this is headed.
Yeah, because Bucks and Syndicate doesn't work. Brodito and because I think
we've already laid the groundwork for
right.
Hurt Syndicate FTR.
Right.
But then how do you knock the Bucks out of this thing? Like where along the way do they get knocked out?
I would say maybe here, just to kind of give people that this might be a spoiler, but the show was fucking live, so who cares? Brodito moved on, so it's going to be Young Bucks versus Brody King and Bandito. I think that's a good team for the Bucks to lose to. And then
maybe, sure.
And then Brody King and Bandito lose nothing by losing to the FTR in the finals. You know what I mean? Like,
right, in a hard fought match.
Right. Like a really, really good hard fought match. FTR was just a little bit better on that night, or maybe Dax grabs the tights a little bit or whatever on a pinfall, something like that. You can do to kind of make it where it's like, fuck, those guys got really, really close, and when they get another chance at FTR, they're going to beat them. But I think that works a little bit better as opposed to doing another Bucks FTR match, which again, like I'm sure it'd be. But those guys have had always weird chemistry in AEW, and I don't know that I necessarily want to see that again. So I'd prefer Brody King and Bandito just get the better of the Bucks, and people can kind of laugh at the Bucks for losing here and not making it to the finals. And then FTR and Brody King and Bandito works better for me as a final to then get to FTR and Hurt Syndicate.
Sure. Baseball extra innings, I mean, they're so fucking stupid in that.
I have long hated that.
Now, this is not sour grapes. It's whatever. Here's the thing. It's so dumb with this little league bullshit with the Ghost Runner, where you can win a game like that. A game like that deserves a better winner, whoever wins, than in the 10th inning, you hit 2 fly ball outs and a ground ball out
yep.
and score the winning run without reaching base. You score the winning run without a base runner reaching base. 2 fly outs and a ground ball.
How could you feel good about that? Yeah.
How can you feel good about that?
I remember the first year that they instituted that rule, and I was like, oh, that's a cool rule. I'm glad they have that rule. And then I played MLB The Show when it came out. And I had a really good game. It was like a really good extra inning game or whatever. And the exact same scenario that you're talking about played out. It was in the bottom of the 11th inning or something like that. And there was a ground out and a pop fly to center field. And they won. And I was like, that rule sucks. Yeah. I was like, that rule fucking stinks. Because I lost the game. And then I won one. And I was like, that doesn't even feel rewarding. I won.
Right.
Then the next game I came back and I won. It was a couple games later. And I won. And I was like, that's the least rewarding win I've ever had. It was like 2 sack flies. And I was like, fuck off. That sucked. Like, what a terrible way to win the game. Like, you're going to celebrate. You're going to do like a leaping up in the air when you do a fucking walk-off sack fly when the guy was already on second. It's like, come on here.
When you lose, you feel cheated.
Yeah.
When you win, it's not satisfying and it feels cheap.
Right.
It's awful.
I thought I would like it, but yeah, then I saw it play out on the show, and I was like, "This is the worst rule ever." I hate this rule.
This was shaping up as a classic game, and it ends with 2 fly balls and a ground out, and it's like, that's your winning rally. 2 fly balls on the ground.
To solve a problem that I don't think has anybody ever, and I'm sure you've watched plenty of games, and I'm sure you've been to plenty of games. Is there anything better than extra inning baseball?
No, well, people whine and cry when it goes like 16, 17 innings, but that's
my favorite games ever. I went to an 18-inning game. It was the greatest game I've ever been to.
That's fun.
You're living and dying on it's fucking 11:45 p.m. There's 100 people left in the stadium, and you're living and dying by every single crack of the bat, thinking this is it.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to go home. Wait, no, we're not. Okay, this is cool. Let's go again.
Yeah, the players don't like it. The managers don't like it because it burns out their bullpen. But it's like, this alternative, though, is worse because it isn't real baseball to win or lose that way, and these games go to extra innings now, and I just roll my eyes.
It's like a tie. Just tie then.
Stupid.
Let's just do ties. If you're going to do this stupid rule, just do ties instead.
How about we just do what we did before and play till someone fucking wins?
The thing we did for 120 years and it was fine. Yeah, I guess you could do that again, too.
Same thing with college football. Why do we play backyard football rules all of a sudden in college football? Why just play the game? It doesn't make any sense. It's unsatisfying. There's nothing worse than a great college football game and then it goes to overtime. You're just like, this is terrible. We're going to decide it like this after these teams left it all out on the field, But yeah, that's look, you know what I could live with? How about we don't do the ghost runner until the 12th inning? Can we at least have a couple innings to win it fair and square and then say, all right, let's move this thing along? Can we at least do it does that make sense to you?
Yeah, or start a guy on first from the 12th to the whatever inning, and then
just how about the 10th and 11th are just real baseball?
We try to play real baseball and try to settle this.
And not you look percentage wise, not many extra inning games would go past the 11th with the Ola, and then if we get to the 12th, then we could say, all right, let's put the guy on base and get this over with now, because that would at least feel like you had a chance to win it in a fair way, as opposed to just going right to these little league rules. I mean, and now that they did the home run derby at the All-Star game, don't think they're not thinking about that. That'd just be a complete farce.
Oh,
just
I'm done. I might
farce.
be done then if that happens.
The only people who will like that are casuals, and you can't craft your game around casual. You know what I mean? It's like,
or your wrestling promotion, no for casuals either.
Right. So anyway, look, I'm proud of my team. That was some fucking guts. I believe in this team. I love this team, and that was an incredible effort. They didn't quit. You can give up at bat down 11-3. That's like 162 games. I'm giving up some at bats here, and I'm going home to fuck my wife. Right? But they fucking played hard to get back in that game. So much better than going down 11-3 and packing it in. Anyway, that was the Bucks and the Outrunners. So we move on. We have a Mark Briscoe segment. Ricochet interrupts, and Briscoe was getting all fiery about MJF here. And they're obviously the main event here was Briscoe Ricochet. So Ricochet comes out, and there's a lot of patterns to Dynamite now. You open up with a match, and then there's usually a segment to build towards the quote-unquote main event, even though the real main event of the show was obviously the world title match.
We should probably note, too, that after the tag match, Okada came out to help the Bucks beat up the Outrunners, and then Swerve came in for the save, because they're doing what appears to be Swerve and Okada at Forbidden Door. Now, I don't know if that's official, but it feels like they teased that hard on Collision just now, so I think that's where we're going.
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot to mention that, and so we're getting Okada and Swerve, and we did a little angle there as Swerve saves the Outrunners from the 3-on-2 beatdown. So Ricochet interrupts. He does the aha in Mark's face, and basically this was just to heat up the main event. So then we got the segment with MJF getting kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate. Shelton reveals that it was a Temu watch, a Temu Rolex that MJF gave him, and he knew it all along, and they were just playing MJF this whole time. And he finally got under their skin enough to where they've decided he's out. Well, listen, if they knew all along,
why do we have to watch all these segments?
Now they tried to explain it because he said, "Oh, out of respect for Montel, we decided to go along with this, but not anymore." So the idea was MJF and MVP had this long-standing bond, which was created out of fucking thin air at the start of this whole thing. But whatever. And the other two were going along with it, but now they've had enough, Rich, of the Temu watches and MJF's selfish attitude. So
I had enough of this angle a long time ago, but it feels very unfulfilling to just have it be Shelton alone, no Bob, no MJ, or no MVP, and him just being like, thumbs down, you're out, and then close the door. We have to have more, right? I would assume MJF has to fuck them out of the titles or something like that. This can't be it. That cannot be the end of this story. I watched too many dumb angles and too many dumb stories for too many dumb weeks for this to be the end of the story.
Well, no, MJF is not going to just go, all right, I guess I'm out. I mean, something's going to happen here.
You would
between
hope.
MJF. Yeah. So Shivani's in the ring with Christian. So long promo. He calls himself
That's an understatement. This thing fucking wrap it up, Gage. Let's go, brother.
Calls himself an asshole to start things off. He says he has disowned the patriarchy. Talked about Cope a little bit, and then mostly spoke about laid out what he was trying to accomplish with the patriarchy, but how it wasn't going to work out. He tried his best, so on and so forth. He didn't act like a babyface here at all. He was definitely heelish throughout this whole thing. He referenced that Cope told him he has to go find himself. So I guess it's going to be a process before he finally comes around and starts being more like his old self. He wasn't here. And then at the end of this, he did get fooled and attacked by the patriarchy, and they gave him a double sort of standing concerto to lay him out on the stage. There's a lot of talk around this segment. Most people did not like it. Rich Craich, what'd you think of this?
I thought it was a little weird. I don't know if... Now, I saw some people theorize that maybe Christian was intentionally stumbling over his words and intentionally being, like, nervous or whatever, because he felt like... I mean, this is a guy who's so confident and so poised in all the promos that he cuts, and here he is out here just kind of, he had trouble getting the words out. He had trouble making sense, and he's kind of just mumbling and jumbling his word, and you're like, what the fuck? This is Christian. It's like one of the best promo guys in this business, one of the best promo guys in AEW. Why is he having so much trouble with this? So some people thought it had to be, like, on purpose because he's been so good for so long at the promo. So I don't know. It just felt like he's a guy who doesn't quite know what his character is supposed to be right now. And I think that's kind of the issue. Because like you said, he hasn't gone full babyface. And I think that's a smart thing to do. I don't think you can have him get turned on and then just be like, all right, everybody, I'm Christian and I'm so glad to have you guys behind me now. Like, you can't do that. You cannot do uber babyface Christian because he's just been a total fucking asshole to everybody for months and months and months and years on end. So you have to I think you have to slow play it a little bit. So I think maybe that's the issue that he had, is he was trying to go out there and do the Christian Cage promo that he's been doing in AEW, but then having to sort of couch it in the fact that I'm kind of turning babyface, but I'm not all the way there. I don't know. It was weird. It was a very weird segment, and it felt like if anybody could nail this, it'd be Christian, and somehow he didn't nail it. In the end, I was just like, I don't know what. It's very strange. It was a very weird promo and a very not typical Christian promo when it was all said and done. And then the concerto didn't look very good at all. They shot it in like the worst way possible, where it didn't look like it hurt him at all. So it was all just a bad segment that if you close your eyes, you're like, oh yeah, it's exactly the segment it needed to be. It established Christian as a babyface, and the patriarchy beat him up again. So now Cope has to come and save him. But then when you watch it in actuality, you're like, this is a mess. This was like, it went on too long. The promo wasn't very good. The concerto looked like shit. So I don't know. I'm down on, I still think the story's good, but I'm down on this particular segment. I just don't think it was very good.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have a problem with it. I saw the criticisms after the fact. I thought here's what my notes say. I thought that Christian had some great promo technique here, and I'll explain what I mean by that. I think that he was cutting a really long promo, and what I noticed he was doing is that every time he started to lose the crowd, because the promo was really long because he had a lot to get through and talk about, he would then cut to insulting an imaginary fan. In other words, if he sensed that he was losing the crowd, he would stop in the middle of his thought, turn, look at someone and go, I'm in the middle of talking, fat boy, and do something like that. And then the crowd would boo and get re-engaged again.
Right. It was just weird because the crowd really wasn't making any noise and nobody was actually heckling him. So it came out kind of weird, where it'd be like silence, and he'd be like, hey, I'm trying to talk here. And it's like, no, right. Stop you, brother. Like, keep talking.
He was doing that to get the crowd re-engaged every time. And I thought that was real good veteran shit, because you can't just stand there and talk to silence for 4 minutes straight or whatever the hell the length of this was. I know it felt like 20, but it was probably like 6 minutes or something. You can't just sit there and talk to silence, because that's bad TV. It's bad for the promo. So what he was doing to ensure that he kept getting some kind of reaction from people was doing those little techniques to re-engage them. And I thought that was notable. Do I think that this was some kind of masterclass promo? No, but I thought that those were shortcuts that a lot of people in the back can learn from when they're out there cutting promos, and it's on the verge of dying, because it was on the verge of dying multiple times, and he was able to do that and at least get the crowd, because you're on TV. That's the other thing. It's not a fucking house show. I mean, it's a fucking television product. So I don't know. I didn't think this was nearly as bad as everybody else thought it was. I thought it was probably too long. But I did think it was effective in laying out, all of this backstory now and where we're going moving forward. And they're obviously going to slow play Christian being presented as more of a babyface, which, that's fine. But the more important thing to me is, Nick Wayne for the rest of the year is going to be getting a genuine push. Yeah. And I think that's important. And by the way, he's 19 years old. Mm-hmm. He's still only 19 years old. His
body's starting to fill out too. If you don't see it with this guy now, I mean, it's. And
then you're blind. If you don't see it, you're
the
blind.
Confidence is oozing. He knows that they believe in him. He knows that he's getting a big time spot here. The body's coming together. It's going to work.
And he could be 15 years from his prime. Think about that.
Yeah,
he could be 15 years from his prime as a pro wrestler. And he's going to be getting this push, and he's putting it all together.
He was born in 2005. He was born July. He just turned 20, Joe. He just turned 20. So update your July 10th, 2005 was his birthday. So he is now 20 years old.
He's speaking with confidence. They're making him the leader of a unit. We know he can work. The body's starting to fill out. He's not going to be a string bean forever. Man, if you're not buying all of the stock in Nick Wayne,
and Mama Wayne's a great character. I mean,
she's so good.
She comes from a worker's family, so I'm not surprised by that. And people might not know that, but she is the daughter of Ed Moretti, Moondog Ed Moretti. So she's in the. Because I had to look that up too. Because I was like, she knows too much pro wrestling. She couldn't have just gotten that from being married to Buddy Wayne, but no, she grew up in the business as well.
And she was a worker too on the independent line.
Right. Because she's too good. Because she's too good at it, and I had to figure out. I'm like, there's no way this. Yeah, she's a great act part of it too. And Nick Sabian, Kip Sabian's there too. So. But he's a good underling, good pin eater.
He's a pin eater.
Exactly.
He's going to be a pin eater. And he was good to Tony, and Tony's going to be good to him. And there's nothing wrong with having guys like that on your roster. In fact, you should have people like that. We talk about this all the time. Everyone on your roster shouldn't be someone who is a future pushed commodity. It doesn't work. You have to have some ditch diggers. You have to have people who can play a role. And there's nothing wrong with Kip Sabian in that role.
No.
Nothing. That's, it's fine. He was a loyal soldier during COVID. And Tony's being loyal right back. That guy's going to have a job as long as he wants one. So as long as you don't overpush him, who cares? But, so that was that segment. Next up, we had you got anything else to say on that? Or
No,
move on?
No, you nailed it.
So then we had the world title match. So Adam Page, Jon Moxley, everyone banned from ringside. So to me, I was like, this is a nice piece of booking, and this is smart, because what you could do is shut people up like me, and I guess you too, who thought that the title change was an overbooked mess and there was too much going on and it took too much of the shine off of Hangman, which was my take. And okay, you come right back, and now he beats him fair and square, nobody involved, and we put Mox behind him, and we just unequivocally proved that he could just beat this guy, right? Which is what I want out of my newly crowned world champion, versus, the fucking, fucking Avengers Assemble stuff that we got at the pay-per-view that we didn't like. So I was like, this is smart. This is really good. But then they do a ref bump. And I'm not going to go crazy about this, but they do the ref bump, and then Claudio and Wheeler T's coming down, and they don't get involved, but it allows Mox to hit him with the belt shot. And then the referee miraculously recovers. Like, this was one of the worst referees. They're all bad. This was one of the worst referee recoveries I've ever done.
This is a quick one. Yeah,
this guy just
down long enough for the belt shot to happen, then he's up and
and boy, did he pop up like the Undertaker sitting up. I mean, he just popped right up.
He was recovered quicker than he should give tips to every other referee out there because he got up very quickly from this bump.
All of a sudden, he was no longer unconscious, and he was able to make that count. Of course, Hangman kicks out. There was no doubt Hangman was winning this match. So I understand what they were doing. They wanted to create or try to create a moment of doubt, right? I respect it. Here's my problem with it. Number one, you told people that everyone would be banned from ringside, which implies we're just going to get a match and we're going to see our hero just beat this guy, right? That's what you're advertising. Right. And that's what you're winking at us and promising, okay? Number two, there was quite literally nothing you could do to convince anyone that Mox was going to win this match at any point. So why bother? This is one of those matches where you just do the thing that everyone knows you're going to do, and you just fucking do it. You don't always have to create doubt.
Right, and you didn't have to protect Moxley. Moxley didn't need protection. The guy has been running over this entire company for 6 and 7 months now in a row.
I don't even think it was protection. I think it was just trying to create a moment of doubt when you could not
wanted
create
that one. They wanted that one spot because after that belt shot, we got a very good near fall or 2.9 kick out from Hangman Page that the crowd did pop for. But yeah, to me, I would have just preferred. I'm with you. Just preferred Hangman one-on-one, mano-a-mano. Just beat this guy and prove, okay, you're in my rear view. I'm the champion now. Let's go.
And then you could do everything you did with Darby in the post-match. Because, that was part of it too. Mm-hmm. But you could just do all that anyway. Like, you could just, after Mox loses, like while Hangman's celebrating, he could give him the same fucking belt shot he gave him during the match. Right? And then Darby can make the same save by diving off the balcony to take out the Death Riders. And then Mox can make the same stupid face that he made that, oh my God, what happened there? Oh, it's Darby. What's going on? And then Hangman could have recovered the same way he did during the match and gave him a flippy-do clothesline and everybody's happy. You could have done all of that after the match and nothing changes. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. It's so there's an addiction to, and this is true of all wrestling, there's an addiction to building up to that one, a ref bump because then you get a seed of doubt. And like you said, the idea was, well, nobody buys that Moxley's going to win this, so we have to do something so people might buy for a second that Moxley's going to win it. And I just do the simple thing. Do the obvious thing. Do the thing that everybody wants. Everybody wants Hangman Page to just beat Jon Moxley in the middle of the ring and establish that he's the champ. And all we're doing is trying to get Hangman even more established as the guy and as your world champion, as your no doubt world champion, the guy who's clearly better than the former champion right now. Jon Moxley had it for a long time. It was the top of the company, all that sort of stuff. Not anymore. Hangman Page is the man. And I think a definitive, obvious, clear, no doubt victory does that a little bit better than, like you said, where we convoluted it just a little too much.
And it's a minor complaint. I'm not saying it's like, no one's going to believe in Hangman now. But I'm just saying I would have done it different. I would have done a little different. I don't think you have to go and try to create that because I don't think anyone is going to buy that near fall. How can anyone buy that near fall? You really think they're going to beat Hangman a week after he wins the title? Did anyone really think that?
That'd be bold.
With a belt shot finish in a match where you were promised no interference.
At the top of the hour at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. Yeah.
In front of 1,100 people. I mean, so from that standpoint, I don't need that. And you could do all that shit. All the same shit you did after the match. Now, I really wanted this rating because I'm really curious what this match is going to do because I'm going to pose a question to you. And I think it's a fair question. I think we all agreed that it was time to recrown the Hangman. Talked about it at length. We both have. And it was the right move, the right guy, all those things. And here's the thing about turning around a wrestling promotion, Rich Craich. It's like turning around a cruise ship. It's not going to happen fast. Now, historically, there have been times where it happened lightning fast, but that's when you just caught on to a new star or something like that. In a situation like this, where you're kind of just getting your promotion back in order after a disastrous 2023 that did a lot of damage to the business and the slow rebuild in 2024 and the leveling out of the business where it stopped siphoning off and you stopped losing business sometime over the last 6 months while Mox was on top. And listen, if people think it couldn't have stopped going any lower, you're wrong. It could always go lower.
Of course.
It can always go lower, okay? So you kind of plateaued, or whatever term you want to use. Plateau's the wrong term, but you leveled out. That's the term. So you're like, all right, we got a chance here. It's not going to turn around in a day. It's going to take time to turn around. Even if you made all the right decisions, going with Hangman over Will Ospreay, having Hangman on TV every week since he's won the title. I think we all agree those are all the correct decisions. It's going to take time. With that said, I have to say, I'm a little surprised at the TV ratings. Now, look, 2 weeks ago, they were number one on cable, even though they weren't impressive numbers. They were still number one on cable, and it's hard to scoff at that. But the next week, they were a little down. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen any bump in the TV ratings. I'm very surprised that when you look at next week's Dynamite in Cleveland, they're on pace to draw under 2,000 fans. And even if they hit 2,000, no one's popping confetti for that. And I'm a little surprised that in Roanoke, Virginia, up the road from where this man is from, Hangman, they're going to do about 1,500 fans in that building for Collision? Yes, it's Collision, but it's an AEW show. You just crowned Hangman the champion, and it's in his backyard. In a historically, what has been a wrestling hotbed. Where the last time WWE was in town, the last two times, they did 8,000, 7,000, whatever it was for their TV. Granted, this is the BTV, but still. I'm not saying that I expected Hangman to start selling out basketball arenas a week after he won the title. Because that's how people are going to twist what I'm saying. We know people get very defensive about the farmer. Okay? What I'm saying is, I'm surprised we're not seeing any signs. That cruise ship hasn't even started to turn. Quite honestly, Rich, I think that Cleveland number and that Roanoke number are embarrassing.
Yeah, the Roanoke one, to your point, they've only sold 200 tickets in 7 days to that show. The last 7 days ago, WrestleTix had an update, and 202 tickets have moved in that time. Now, this is 4 days ago, so I don't know if that's, we'll see if that gets updated a bit. But yeah, they only set that thing up in Roanoke for 2,527, and they've only sold 1,400 tickets. And like I said, 202 tickets have been sold over the last 7 days, pretty much since.
And by the way, that Berglund, what's it called, the Berglund Center or whatever?
Berglund Center. Yeah.
If you do a little research, that's the Roanoke Civic Center where wrestling historically has drawn 7,000, 8,000, 9,000.
Yeah, it's
the same building. It's a different name. It's a different name. They're telling us that Cleveland's up to 2,100. Again, I think that's great, but no one is popping confetti for that. I mean, if we start praising 2,000 fans in a building, if we start praising houses that are 1,000 more fans than we just did in a music hall, I mean, come on. I think everybody gets the gist of what I'm saying here if they're being fair.
Yeah. It's again, we're a couple days out from some of these other shows too. The Brady Music Center or whatever in Cincinnati. I mean, 7 days, these updates. And I always like to look at this of like how many tickets have been sold over the last X amount of days or whatever. The Dynamite is plus 71, in a week period, plus 33 in a week period. So yeah, you're assuming that you're going to get these bigger bumps. More people are going to be going to these buildings, but that just hasn't reflected yet.
Here's the bottom line. I'm going to ask you a question because if I'm going down, you're going down with me. I'm going to ask you a question. Does it feel in the 3 weeks since this guy won the title that there is extra momentum in this company that there wasn't before All In? Does it feel like that to you? It doesn't feel like that to me.
No, and it feels like an overall, like I feel the vibes, quote unquote, are better, but I don't feel like
when are vibes gonna give me a 0.2?
Yeah.
I'm not asking for prime 20. I almost said the magic word. I'm not asking for prime 2021 numbers. I'm not asking for 0.35s, Rich. When are the vibes gonna give me, a 0.21? When are the vibes going to give me, an instant quote unquote sellout of the 1,500 tickets you have for sale in an 8,000 seat building? I'm not seeing anything. And I genuinely thought strapping this guy up was going to be like, here we go, because he was handed the ball in a really good situation. business had stopped declining. And it was like, wow, all right, this is good. Business has ceased declining. The vibes are good. We all agreed. All In did 27,000 fans. We're never going to find out how many were sold, I guess. But the point is they did another million, over $1 million house, 27,000 fans. It's like, wow, we've got some momentum here. And then we come out of, and everyone loves that they put the title on him. Everyone agrees it was the right move.
Of course. And
now we're 3 weeks in, and it does not feel any different. And the business is not reflecting that this is, all right, we have a little bit of, the cruise ship is starting to turn. Because again, I'm not saying there needed to be an instant business on fire. That's not what I'm saying. But there's nothing happening still. Nothing. I don't get the sense that crowning of the Hangman at All In has mattered at all yet. And is 3 weeks too soon? Maybe. Probably. Let's check it out again in 2 months, 6 months.
Right. Let's see what this rating looks like when it comes in. I think that's going to be very important and a good look at it. Because if it's the same thing as it was last week,
I wish we had the rating. I wish we had the rating.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we had the rating. Okay? And that's why I pushed this back to the Flagship. And a lot of people are going to listen to this after the rating comes in. And I'm not going to be an asshole about this. If the show did a 0.14, okay, and 580,000 viewers, but the match did a giant spike, that's what I'm talking about seeing.
Right.
Okay? That's all I'm asking for. I don't even need the show itself to pop a monster number. If the match itself popped a monster number, then I'm okay. Then I'm like, all right, that's a good sign. We all want this thing to turn around. I'm not rooting against it. Okay? And I acknowledge it takes a lot of time. It could take 2 years.
Yeah. So I think you broke in with a little bit, but yeah, WrestleTix did just update the Cleveland show that 500 tickets have sold over the last 6 days. So that's pretty good.
And again, though, Rich, it's still only 22,100 fans.
Yes, yeah, you'd like to have that sold out instantly, but I look at that momentum
Are we really?
stuff.
Are we going to pop confetti for 2,100?
I'm not
fans?
popping confetti. I just mean 500 tickets sold in 6 days is decent. That I look at as a positive.
I mean, how low are the standards?
Pretty low, pretty low.
Yeah, but this is
we're being honest. Yeah,
but this is the same shit we were seeing before they put the title on them. This is no different.
Right. Well, and then you look at what they did in October 2024. It was 3,600 in that building, and now we're setting this thing up for 2,600. So they're setting it up for 1,000.
What, Cleveland?
Yeah, in Cleveland. Yeah.
So Cleveland, when did they do? Hold on, say that again.
October 30th, 2024. Dynamite did 3,681.
Okay, so it's the same building in the same city.
Correct. Wolstein Center at CSU in Cleveland, Ohio.
And Hangman's the champ now. Is it too much to ask to do the same fucking number that you did in October? If this guy's allegedly some big time draw? I'm just going to say it. Is it too much to ask that they could do the same number if this guy's allegedly some big time draw? Here's my hypothesis. I don't think he's a draw. I don't think anybody in AEW is a draw. I don't think a single one of them are a draw. Not Hangman, not Swerve, not Will Ospreay, not Mox. None of them are a draw right now.
And the brand is not a draw either, because you'll hear people say that. Well, the brand is the draw. The brand is not the draw, because the brand's not drawing that much. So
how can you make the argument that any of these people are a draw when the company isn't drawing?
Correct. Yeah.
Here's where they draw. Pay-per-views. Do you know why? Because they have set a standard for 6 years that the pay-per-views are great, and you're going to miss something if you don't go.
Right, because All Out is doing great. All Out is, I think, already over 10,000 or whatever. All Out, yeah. The pay-per-views always do well. The TVs very much struggle.
Now, let me be clear. I don't think this company has a single significant draw right now, okay? They have a couple people who can pop a TV number now and then. Tony Storm being one of them. Hangman being one of them. Will Ospreay being one of them. You know what? Somebody in the Discord the other day said, when has Will Ospreay ever popped a quarter? Has he ever popped one? I don't think he has. And that got me to thinking. I thought that sounded stupid. I said, of course he has, right? But I said, I'm going to go look it up. It took me 10 minutes, and I found 4 significant instances of Will Ospreay popping a quarter hour. And it took me 10 minutes. I didn't even have to go back further than 2025. So do I think there's people on the roster who can pop a quarter? When I say pop, these aren't exactly
little upticks. Yeah, little upticks. This is not exactly.
I almost said the magic word again.
Don't say that.
This isn't exactly Cody popping a Raw quarter. Okay. But they have people who can move a quarter. Let me put it that way. Okay. But they don't have anyone who's selling tickets yet. They don't have anyone who significantly is moving numbers yet on this roster. And that doesn't mean they never will. Do I think Hangman or Will Ospreay or Swerve or MJF, who has done it before, or Tony Stormer, or, name your favorite star, a reasonable star.
Mercedes,
Yeah, Mercedes. Don't give me Kip Sabian. But, yes. But right now, none of them are.
No.
And I don't know how you can argue that. And I think these numbers coming up are pretty eye-opening. I think it's eye-opening. And no one's going to say it, so I have to say it. Because no one's going to – but, I mean, how can your eyes not be open? They're not going to hit the number they did in Cleveland in October. Can we at least hit that number? And again, if they do –
that definitely was eye-opening to me. Because I don't think I didn't think that was a bad number, but then I looked and I'm like, oh, God, they did over 1,000 more people than they're set up for in October of 2024, and I don't think anybody would consider October 2024 a very good, hot period of AEW business.
That was during the leveling off period where it was like, all right, we're not continuing to lose. We're just doing the same. We're steady now. We're steady now. Is it really too much to ask to match that? What is still a low number?
Yeah,
is it too much to ask? Number, yeah. Can we match that number at least? Is that really too much to ask? Am I being unreasonable? I thought that this was going to start to spark things. I thought it was going to be the beginning of spark, and long term it might be.
It might be, yeah. It might be, and that's the thing. We don't know just yet. You have to, you have to see it through for a while. You can't hotshot anything. You have to. If this is the guy that you believe in, and this is the guy that you think is going to, you got to just stick with it and go with it, and hope that it turns the corner. And that that doesn't always work. Sometimes that is not the best business decision, but AEW needs to do that. AEW needs to try to establish somebody because it's a brand that is really just without the draw are the pay-per-views. The draws are, that if you buy your ticket to an AEW pay-per-view, you're going to get 4 hours of really fucking great wrestling. So the pay-per-views will sell. TV, you have no fucking idea. When you buy a ticket to a TV show, you don't know who the hell's going to be on the show, and you have no idea what matches are going to be. You know nothing about the TV shows ahead of time, and I think that probably hurts it a little bit as well. And I know that Tony's been going and doing the media rounds and doing these sort of things and talking about engagement and last minute stuff, and it's like, yeah, brother, but people want to buy tickets to a show and know they're going to get a really good TV show too. So
I think, and here's another one that might be a hot take. I don't know. I think at this point, the actual cards for the pay-per-views make a marginal difference.
No, I think people just buy into the pay-per-views.
They know they're going to get a great pay-per-view.
Yeah, I know that. I know that this company will deliver a good pay-per-view for me, and I have no reason to not believe. Because they think of all the great pay-per-views they've had, and then think of the bad pay-per-views. It is way more on the great side than on the bad side.
And I feel like, a main event people are into can help a little, but I think you're generally going to do about the same amount of tickets and pay-per-view buys no matter what you put on these pay-per-views, to a reasonable degree.
Yeah, for sure.
Do I think All In sold a few more tickets because it was Hangman as opposed to Will? Yes.
Sure.
Do I think it sold a significant amount of ticket? No, I don't. And that's where people might disagree with me. But I went and looked at the ticket trends for All In. There was this thing going around. And it was like, oh, All In's tickets didn't take off until after Double or Nothing. And that was just something everybody was saying and we were all accepting. I said, has anyone looked at it? So I went back and looked at it. And I tracked it. And they sold roughly 1,000 tickets every week in between Double or Nothing and All In. And then the day of the show, they had their big jump because, as you know, and as some people might not know, Texas is a huge walk-up state. It always has been. Ask anyone from Texas. Texas always does a huge walk-up, okay? But they sold about 1,000 tickets every week between Double or Nothing or All In, and then the big jump came day of show. So I said, all right, how does that compare to other large-scale AEW shows? And I looked at the second Wembley show. I left the first one out because we all know the first Wembley is a complete anomaly. That was the gimmick was AEW is running Wembley. You can't look at that show for anything.
No. Yeah.
Okay. So I looked at the second Wembley show, and the ticket pattern in the 7 weeks leading up was very similar. Very similar. All In had a slightly higher percentage of tickets each week sold than All In did in the second Wembley, but the pattern was similar. And it's like, I think that Hangman helped that house to a marginal degree, but Maybe it was the difference between 2,700 and 2,500. Anyone who thinks that show was going to do like 18,000 if Hangman wasn't in the main event is out of their mind. They had over 15. They had like what? I don't have it in front of me. Don't quote me, but they had like around 16,000 at the time of Double or Nothing. And then I said about 1,000 a week for 7 weeks until the big walk up. So my point here is not to bang on Hangman. My point here is I don't think these main events and what's on the actual cards makes a significant difference. I think it makes a marginal difference. I think people trust AEW pay-per-views. So I don't know. We'll probably get the number tomorrow. And my prediction on the number is an overall rating and viewership in the same general range that they've been doing. And I think the match will have a nice little bump. Mm-hmm. I think people would be interested, I would hope, in the match. And I think the match will do okay. Because if you go back and look, Hangman segments usually do. Now, here's the thing with Hangman. He's been opening the show a lot, so it's hard to tell.
Right.
But I am going to give the benefit of the doubt that people are interested in his segments. They're not interested in buying tickets. I mean, I'm sorry if that's hard for people to hear, but it's in black and white. But I think that the match itself probably did well. The position, top of hour, all those things. Okay? And I'm not looking to dance on graves if it didn't. I'm going to be disappointed if it didn't. But what is my job on this show? I have to come on here and talk about the truth. And these are my observations in the 3 weeks or so since the title change. I thought we'd start seeing some signs. And maybe the rating for this match will be that first sign.
Right.
Because we haven't had a sign.
Maybe that'll be the uptick, yeah. Yeah, because otherwise there hasn't been much that you can really point to. So,
well, now that I've got myself subtweeted and sub-podcasted and buried around the world, we can move on with the review. Hey, listen, I don't know. Do you think I'm wildly off base on any of this?
No, I don't think it's much to say. Hey, all right, this is the guy. He's the main character. We all agree that he's the main character of AEW. He's the champ now. He won the title at the big tournament. Let's start seeing some stuff now. The rubber's going to have to meet the road at some point here. And if he's going to be the guy that you're going to build a company around, and I think we all agree that that's the right move at this time, you do want to start seeing some of those business metrics tick up now. And it's time. It's time because again, everything's been sort of, since the last part of 2024 to the earlier part of 2025, and Tony's been going on and telling people about this too. Things have been looking better. They've been looking up, but it's not, we're crawling along, and there needs to be that inflection point where it's like, okay, now things are really going to start turning the corner. You want to start, you don't want to start leveling off and just kind of, we're not going down anymore. We're kind of the same.
I just want to see signs.
Right. You want to see that uptick, and that we haven't seen a true uptick, really.
I'm looking for signs.
Right.
And when
that's why I always got mad. Because people always started to cut you up, but everybody would go with, the Max. The number on Max, the number on Max, the number on Max. I'm glad a lot of people watch on Max, but we got to get people to these fucking buildings. We need people to buy some fucking tickets and buy some merchandise and do that sort of stuff. I mean, you can tout millions and millions of people watching on Max, and that's not being reflected in the TV ratings, and that's fine, but get these people to the fucking building then. Convert these people into a buying audience.
I agree. I just want to see signs. I mean, when I see signs, I'll come on here and talk about the signs.
Of course.
Because that's what I do. I
analyze the business.
Throughout the history of this company, I've talked about the signs, good and bad, and what I think of the ratings and the attendance. And if there's some gigantic uptick in Max, okay, and someone can provide me with that, and then great. Then we'll come on here and talk about it and say, all the Hangman fans are watching Max. Look at these Max numbers. Yeah, but look, that shit's all fucking clouded in secrecy. I can't fucking trust any of that. No one knows anything about Max. Now, I think way more people are watching Max than at the start, because that just makes logical sense.
Of course.
As time moves on, more people are going to be watching on Max. But I don't even bother discussing Max. What's the point? It's all guesswork. So, anyway, let's move on. So, anything else to say? I think we said everything there is to say about the world title.
I think we have said all that we could say, and then too much, probably. But anyway.
All right. So, Athena and Billy Starks defeat Alex Windsor and Toni Storm. This was obviously the logical finish, because we're building towards Athena versus Toni Storm, which I think has a chance to be an excellent match. Rich Craich, do you have any thoughts about Athena and Billy Starks versus Alex Windsor and Tony Storm?
I like the finish a lot. I thought the match itself was whatever. I thought it was good action, fast paced. That was nice. I thought the finish though was pretty cool. Getting Athena to do the blind tag and hit the did they call it the O-Face in AEW, right? Or did they call it, because what they didn't change the name of it at one
I don't
point,
know, but everybody knows what it is.
Yeah, the O-Face. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. I forget if it's actually called the O-Face anymore, because I always remember calling it the O-Face because it was the O-Face forever, but obviously at certain points in certain companies you weren't allowed to call it the O-Face, but I think she's calling it the O-Face again here in AEW. But that finish is one that, and I talked about it when I did the Thursday Dynamite review when I filled in for you, and a couple other times I talked about it in the All In review, that is a move that 75 to 80% of the time looks like shit, but when it's hit perfectly, it looks like the greatest move in wrestling. And she's been hitting it pretty perfectly lately with a few people. She hit it perfectly with Mina Shirakawa on All In, and I thought Tony took it pretty well here. And it comes out of nowhere sometimes. When you can do that, it looks even better. And I thought this was really cool with doing the blind tag, coming in, hitting the O-Face, and getting that pin on Tony Storm. I thought was notable, and it has me a little bit more interested, because it's like, oh, okay, cool. They didn't do the, we all expect. You know, you always talk about, oh, you expect the match to go this way, you expect it to go this way. You expected, oh, Tony's gonna pin Billy, or Athena's gonna pin Windsor. But no, they decided to go with Athena, you know, getting the big win and outsmarting Tony Storm and getting that big. So it establishes that, okay, she's a viable contender here, because you have to reestablish Athena to this crowd. This crowd really doesn't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that are hardcore wrestling fans and hardcore AEW fans that know Athena is in Ring of Honor and defending the title and winning all these matches and stuff. Most of your AEW fans have no fucking idea. So they have to do a really good job of reestablishing Athena, or really establishing her. I guess not even reestablishing her, but actually establishing her on AEW television. And I think a match like this and a big win like this is necessary, because you can't just point to, oh, well, people are going to know that she's been ROH champion for 4 years or whatever. That doesn't matter. That to that crowd, it really doesn't matter, because most of them don't watch Ring of Honor. Nobody watches Ring of Honor. So you need to kind of establish her on this main roster, and I think they've done a good job so far, and that's a match that I'm definitely looking forward to. And I think on Collision, now again, I was watching on mute, so somebody can let me know in the chat room, but it looks like Athena laid out the challenge on Collision. Now, whether Tony officially accepted it or not, I do not know. But so we're not I guess we're executing the contract for Forbidden Door, which is fine by me. I'll take that over running in at the end of a match and executing the contract that way or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was a fun match, and I think they've done a good job of establishing Athena on the main roster.
So I've made my stance pretty clear on Billy Starks, I think, right? I've talked about Billy Starks a lot.
You made it very clear, yes.
I think that if you look, if you truly understand the little things about pro wrestling and no ball, there's just so many flaws in their game. And I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do that here again. But here, I did get a message from someone in the building last night. And from time to time, I know a lot of people, obviously, in and around wrestling. And they'll go to shows and they'll send me text messages, and we'll talk back and forth. And this is someone with no dog in the Billy Starks fight. This is just someone who I know in and around pro wrestling, who likes to talk ball. And this is their assessment of this tag team match. I don't always share all these messages I get from people.
And they're
Sometimes
good.
I do
They're good with the share. You said I can share this on the pod, or do you
yeah. I'm not going to name who it was, but
just give me the first 4 digits of their number so I make sure I know this person. So give me the last
from time to time. From time to time, I'll use this though, because this is someone with no dog in the fight.
Right.
But this is someone who you can trust, and everyone can trust. Does a great job assessing pro wrestlers. They're really great at it. They understand pro wrestling. Here's what this person had to say about this match, and I'm just going to read it verbatim. Quote, "It is hard to describe just how shitty Stark's offense looks in person. She's massively exposed working next to Athena, who lays everything in. She's truly horrible, doesn't do anything well." End quote. That's not just from some fan. That's from someone who knows what the hell they're talking about. And everyone can trust that this is someone who gets it. Okay. No dog in the fight. Have no idea if they listen to my reviews or not. That was their honest assessment of Billy Starks in this match. And they went on to say, and I quote, Windsor is the real deal, though. I think she's going to do extraordinarily well here. End quote. Meaning
I would agree with
AEW.
that. Having seen her live, and this is the first time I saw her live on Saturday, nice crisp work, felt strong, felt good. You know what I mean? Like you could just tell that crispness, that laying it in, good sounds, good presence, good smack on the bumps, good smack on the offense. Like you could hear all that. So yeah, I think Windsor's solid as hell.
Yeah, so that's someone in and around the pro wrestling business who gave me just their opinions on what was going on, live in the building. So I just wanted to share that.
Yep.
Just wanted to share that. I mean, I don't even think a lot of people necessarily disagree with my assessment of Starks, but I genuinely believe she's one of the most overrated wrestlers of the last 15 years because the amount of praise that she gets from some circles is it is truly baffling and insane to me when I watch her and all I see is someone who looks like they don't know what they're doing.
Right. And we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And I got it when she was 16 and people, saying, oh man, if she keeps this up, but a lot of the same flaws that she had when she was 16, she still has now that she's 19 or 20 or whatever it might be. And, I did see a lot of people talk and I've had this discussion with a few people as well saying, oh, well, she's still really green and she's really that.
Then get her off TV.
Well, first off, get her off TV, and also she's had 500 matches. I mean, I think people are saying, oh, you can't judge her yet. She's still very young. I feel like after 500 matches, I think I have an assessment if someone's good or not. I don't care if they're 20 or they're 35. If after 500 matches, there's still glaring holes and massive flaws in your game, I'm sorry. She's got I think I looked it up. She has, I want to say 200 more matches than Willow Nightingale has in her career. Do you have any? Do you look at Willow Nightingale and go, well, let's wait a couple, 300 more matches to find out if Willow's any good or not? No, I think she's pretty good. Jamie Hayter, I think she's got 300 more matches than Jamie Hayter does. I think I know that Jamie Hayter's pretty good. Toni Storm's been wrestling for, I think, 7 more years than Billie Starkz and only has about 100 more matches than her. And I think I knew Toni Storm was pretty fucking great. 2019, 2020, you could tell she was already pretty fucking great. Hell, before that, I think I could tell Toni Storm was pretty great by 2017 or whatever, the first couple times I saw her. So none of the excuses really jive with me either. It's like this, we have to start calling it like it is with her. And
well, first of all, she's a national television wrestler. How else am I supposed to, on what standard am I judging this person? Okay. She's not working this up. We're not reviewing a BLP show in the middle of the pandemic. She's a national television wrestler. I have to assess what I see and I have to judge her on the highest standards. Why am I grading on a scale here?
All right, I don't know this person. I have to present them with kid gloves or whatever. Yeah.
You can say, all right, well, look, I think a valid argument is she came up in a truly putrid era for independent pro wrestling in the United States and wasn't exactly in there working with the best of the best.
And did way too much intergender, which we talked about at the time.
Way
too,
too much intergender.
Everybody got mad at us, but every intergender match that she had was the exact same structure and it was never going to make her any better. People got mad at us and we're still not allowed to say it. So whatever, but it didn't help development whatsoever.
But my point is, even if you want to go down that road, didn't Willow Nightingale come up in the same indie atmosphere?
Sure.
How come she's great? How come she ended she's great?
Also did a lot of intergender too, so it validates my point that I just brought up.
She came up in the same environment.
Yeah, and has 200 fewer matches and is light years better.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what way you want to go, but whatever. Spend way too much time.
Yeah, it's good. We got Athena. So that is official. I do want to say Athena and Timeless Tony official for Forbidden Door singles match for the AEW Women's World Title. Also, Okada versus Swerve is locked in for the AEW Unified Title as well.
Yeah, it's a good point. Billy, the chat makes a good point. She has all these Japan tours too, where in theory you're supposed to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
guess she's got to go there for 2 years, and then maybe she'll be good.
I don't. All right, so we got a great segment here. MJF is trying to goad Hangman again, this time by evoking Swerve. He tried last week to goad Hangman into giving him a title shot, but Hangman is seeing through all of these tricks. And I think this is an important character development stuff that they're doing with Hangman, where maybe the previous incarnations of Hangman where he's anxious and nervous, whatever the fuck, maybe he would have fell for this, but now he's confident. He's the champion.
I'm the fucking champ, and I'm not buying. I don't have a crisis of conscience every single time somebody talks to me. It's like, no, I'm the fucking champ. I'm the top of this company. What do you want?
So this is important that twice he has rebuffed MJF, and MJF has this look on his face like, oh my God, I can't mentally manipulate this guy anymore.
Right.
So I am really just going to have to earn this title shot. Like even prodding him about Swerve, Hangman just blew that off. Where previously any mention of Swerve and the guy just became, like just completely crumbled mentally, So they're showing that he's the champ and he's overcome all this shit and he's confident now and all that. And that's the purpose of these segments. And they work. And he said, look, the hell with you. You need to earn it. You either need to trigger that contract or you need to earn it in the ring, or I'm facing Mark Briscoe because I respect Mark Briscoe and he has earned it. Now, I don't know what Mark Briscoe did to earn it because he almost never wins. Okay, so whatever. We long since stopped caring about that stuff in AEW, and it's a rant that I'm tired of having. But so it looks like maybe we'll get MJF Briscoe, and then that'll determine who faces Hangman, and MJF is going to have to earn his title shot. So. Anything else on that?
No, I think that was a good, good. Like you said, a good segment to establish that Hangman's no longer this, fragile.
Right.
He's just like, nah, dude.
Oh my God, you said Swerve. I need a drink.
Yeah,
there's none of that anymore.
I'm shaking in my boot. Yeah, no, it's just like, I'm the fucking champ. I've proven that Swerve's tangentially on my side right now. I've beaten all the demons, and I'm just the top of the company now. So now, you know what? You want a shot? Earn it.
Yeah, fuck off, dork. Go win some matches. All right, so. Main event: Mark Briscoe, Ricochet.
Willow buried the Triangle of Madness. Got to give that segment too. Willow had a promo where she made fun of the Triangle of Madness.
I didn't mark that down.
Called her. She gave herself a name that was equally as dumb as the Triangle of Madness, but hers was supposed to be dumb, and the Triangle of Madness is supposed to be cool, I guess. So yeah, whatever.
All right. I don't know why I have no notes on that. Okay. Glad you did. So we had Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet. Predictable finish because, once you do the segment with Hangman saying he wants to defend against Mark Briscoe, you can't have him go out there and lose to Ricochet. Right?
Probably not, no.
He wins the match. MJF attacks Mark, and he reveals his MJF did nothing wrong shirts. So he's referencing cutesy little internet shit. Remember, Hangman did nothing wrong and all that. And so now it's MJF did nothing wrong. And he attacks Mark. So now the question is Forbidden Door. What are we going to get? Are we going to get MJF versus Hangman? We're going to get Mark Briscoe versus Hangman. Are we going to get a 3-way? Yuck. So,
no. Yeah.
I guess
you're right.
I guess we find out.
I guess it could happen. Yeah.
For Forbidden Door, what I would do is I think a good idea would be to do Hangman versus Mark Briscoe and then maybe do the MJF Mystico match, because I think that, I really think, I don't know why. I don't know what the plans are for MJF and Mystico. Maybe they're just going to wrap that up in Arena Mexico, which is also fine. But, I mean, man, the opportunity, there have been other opportunities to do that match, and they've kind of just, I don't want to say forgotten about it.
It's like MJF's fifth most important story right now. List off MJF's stories right now. He's doing that thing again. And AEW's that thing again where MJF has got to be in, which I don't mind. I don't mind when guys are in a bunch of different stories, but MJF is always in too many stories. And it's like, no, you don't need to be in 5.
Well, maybe, I think MJF Mystico would have pushed some tickets at All In.
Of course.
But they did the gauntlet instead. I feel like you could have done the gauntlet on TV. The gauntlet stunk up the fucking show. It was the worst match on the fucking show. Brutal. Okay, so the match was terrible and interminably long. And I feel like you would have sold more tickets if you did MJF Mystico, and you could have just done the gauntlet at another time. Maybe they were trying to shoehorn people onto the All In show.
It feels like in my mind, in my brain, as I was watching this last night Dynamite, I thought, okay, here we go. We're in Forbidden Door season. So what's going to happen is MJF's going to attack Mark Briscoe, but then Mystico's going to come out and send MJF off. And then Mark can kind of do his thing with Hangman where they have their match of respect or whatever. And it's an easy win for Hangman. It gives Mark Briscoe a world title shot. And everybody, because Mark Briscoe's got a lot of good momentum right now because he's did the interview and he's been out doing press junkets and he did the stuff with the Players Tribune or whatever. So it's a good opportunity to give Hangman just an easy win. He doesn't have to, you don't have to burn off a big time match or whatever. Forbidden Door is going to have a bunch of other things that you're going to put on. So you have Hangman versus Mark Briscoe, and then you get right back to Mystico and MJF. But No, they haven't done anything with Mystico and MJF in a very long time. And now I know MJF is going to be in Mexico on tomorrow, right? But we're recording this on Thursday. I think he's going to be in Mexico tomorrow, so maybe you establish more. But again, in AEW canon, this Mystico story is like the fourth or fifth most important story that MJF is doing right now. He's got Mark Briscoe, he's got Hangman Page, and he's got the Hurt Syndicate stuff. So I guess what, fourth?
I mean, that's fine if you give it like if you want to put it on Forbidden Door and make it like the number 3 match or something. I mean, I that's good.
I guess, but let's get going. Let's go.
Wouldn't you want to do it in I thought All In was the spot. I really thought All In was the spot.
I like it. I like doing it in Arena Mexico if you're going to do it, but I think you want to.
I wouldn't have a problem with that. Of course, I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know, that's obviously an option.
Yeah.
So
it's strange because that match felt pretty hot for a while there, and now in AEW canon it just doesn't feel like it exists.
Because again, maybe it's just going to be a CMLL thing now,
right?
Which, all right, fine. You know, because maybe Tony doesn't want to muck up whatever he's doing with MJF and Hangman, and that makes sense. I get that, but I guess we'll wait this week. Maybe we'll see some movement on that, and then we'll see. I mean, Forbidden Door. Look, there's not a lot of hot matches you can make with New Japan right now, obviously.
Well, and they're in their G1 too, which is another weird scheduling thing. Is like, who can come over from New Japan right now? I mean, you have Ishii.
Yeah, I know.
But Ishii comes every summer. The man loves Chicago summers.
I mean, Ishii's on the AEW roster.
Correct.
I mean, he's, who doesn't consider him part of the roster at this point? So that's not really like a special guest. He's not someone who they push. So yeah, I don't know, but
because when's the G1 wrap up? When's that actual final G1 day? Because that's going to leave them not a whole lot of time, right?
Well, what's the date on Forbidden Door?
Okay, so August 17th is the final of the G1 Climax, and Forbidden Door is the 24th. So you're going to fly everybody out there and do
whoever's working it. I mean, make towns, brother. It's pro wrestling.
I suppose, but that's going to be, I just mean that's like you're going to have that day. That's going to be a busy day in New Japan. They have that Wednesday.
They got like 4 days to get there.
That Wednesday, August 20th. Circle that one because everyone's coming over, I guess, to get this show ready.
Wait, you said one date's the 17th and the other's the 24th, right?
Yeah.
You have plenty of time to get there.
The
G1 ends this
August 17th. G1 ends.
Okay.
Forbidden Door is August 24th.
I don't see an issue here. You have a fucking week. You sit home a couple days and ice your knees, and then you get on a fucking plane and come over.
So all the forbidden parts of the Forbidden Door are going to be unrevealed until the final 5 days before the show.
No, I mean, if you want to announce matches, you can't obviously do angles on TV. But if you want to announce a Zack Sabre Jr. in a match, why can't you do that and then have him fly over after the G1?
You can do that, but AEW doesn't really do that anymore. And I agree they should just have matches and just book matches. But
well, in this case, if they want New Japan, if they want the top New Japan wrestlers at Forbidden Door, they're going to have to do that.
Correct, right?
Because you don't have time to shoot angles on TV. What are the days of the week of August 17th and August
the 17th
24th?
is a Sunday, so you wrap up on a Sunday. Everybody got to get on a plane or do whatever the fuck to get to wherever they are on Wednesday the 20th, and then the 24th is next Sunday.
I mean, if Tony wants to be a true fucking sicko, he could shoot all his angles on the 20th. That's probably what they'll do.
That's probably what they will do. I know, but I don't know. That seems.
But I mean, I think the hotter stuff is going to come out of CMLL anyway for Forbidden Door if they choose to go that route, because you could do something with Mystico.
Probably, yeah.
And you've established some of these other guys. It's and you have Stardom to work with, and you have Rev Pro if you want to work with them, and those aren't going to be big money matches or anything. But look, I think Forbidden Door has gotten to the point because New Japan isn't where they were, and part of that is because of AEW, but because New Japan isn't where they were in terms of the ability to have their top stars be in true money drawing matches, right? I think that Forbidden Door is slowly becoming a show where it's just going to be your own shit on top. And then the interpromotional fun stuff is just going to be the undercard filler that doesn't make a ton of a difference.
It's not AEW versus New Japan like it was. You're probably not
it was the first couple times. Right. You're going to just have to evolve, and it's just not going to be that. And then people are going to say, oh, well, then why do it? I mean, well, why do anything? I mean, it's just it's a hook for a show. But you just put your own money drawing matches on top. And if you look, you have Mystico to work with. and you have a great relationship with CMLL right now because they need to have a great relationship with you because this is a good transition to our next segment because there's someone sniffing around the corner and it behooves them to be in a good relationship with AEW. So you can sit at a table and negotiate things and finishes right now.
There is a good note, real quickly. There is a good note in our chat room that Stardom is doing their tournament right now, the 5-Star Grand Prix, and that ends the day before Forbidden Door, too.
Well, you're probably not getting any of them then.
No.
Okay, that's a little – the day before, forget it. So forget Stardom this year. But, you get whoever you get from New Japan, whoever you get from CMLL, and you build the top of your card around your own matches. That's all. People aren't going to – if you build hot matches within your own promotion.
Well, Tony and Athena already is pretty.
Yeah, Tony hot. Athena is on its way to being a hot match, and if you build a hot world title match for Hangman, people aren't going to go, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to see those matches because I was expecting no, they're going to buy the fucking
Where's
show.
Great Okan? There's no Great Okan on this show.
They're going to buy the fucking show, okay? They're going to buy the show, and.
Where's Rohei Oiwa? Fuck. I thought I was
It's already $1 million gate anyway. They already crushed it.
That's
at the
true.
Fucking
They
gate.
did sell a shit ton of tickets already. So
from that standpoint, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about selling pay-per-views. You've already sold your tickets. Okay? So all you have to do to sell pay-per-views is give AEW fans hot world title matches. Okay, I think people have to get used to the idea that Forbidden Door isn't going to be completely the original concept anymore.
No, that's
kind of a self-fulfilled prophecy in a way by AEW, but at the same time, New Japan just listen. Are people listening to my G1 reviews? New Japan isn't exactly piping hot.
No, no.
They're not drawing either.
No,
they can't.
Some of those houses. Oh,
they can't give away tickets for the G1. They can't give them away.
Tanahashi's last G1 too. It means nothing.
They've got shows in this G1 that have lower attendance than the same building during the COVID year when it was ticket restricted. They're getting beat by ticket restricted shows from 5 years ago in some of these cities. They can't give away a ticket. So those guys can't draw in their own country. They're not drawing anybody here. You just put them on the undercard. You sprinkle them in. You give Zack Sabre Jr. a title defense fourth from the top, and that's fun for us, right? But you don't have to count on it to draw. No one's going to buy the pay-per-view to see it, but you can still do it. You put a fucking 6-man with a bunch of CMLL guys against fucking your flippy-do guys that you have that you don't care about, Top Flight, whoever the fuck.
Yeah.
But Tony probably won't even do that. I don't know. But
I think AEW is too addicted to telling stories with all their matches. So what we're going to get is just an absolutely insane August 20th Dynamite where 15 matches get announced or whatever, where I would just do like you said. I'd have a couple guys in New Japan cut a pre-tape and say, all right, yeah, what we're going to do is whoever can come over, they're going to be in a 6-man against a bunch of CMLL guys. And we'll have, that's what I would do. But I think AEW,
Tony's not going to do that.
No, Tony is going to have everybody that shows up to the building on the 20th. All right, here we go. Here's what we're going to do for Forbidden Door. That's what's going to happen.
The promotion that allegedly just puts together cool matches and doesn't tell any stories, tells way too many stories and puts together way too few cool matches.
Put together cool matches. Because you could have a Forbidden Door card ready to go today. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of random ass matches that's fine, whatever. You establish your big time AEW stories and you fill that card out with a bunch of, hey, this guy versus this guy. That's kind of fun, right? And that's all. But
this is my weekly reminder to harass Tony about booking Tom Billington versus Tiger Mask.
Oh, that's right. We got to do that. Fuck, we have 24 days, people. 24 days.
Look, I've been so annoying about it that he probably won't do it out of spite, but I'm going to remind him again.
We should have told Case. Maybe Case did. I don't know if Case did.
I want Tom Billington against Tiger Mask. And if Case, listen, I'm going to if Case has another one scheduled before then, I'm going to let him know to ask that. He's got to put the pressure on. We got to get this match.
We're running out of time. Yeah, we're running out of time here.
We got to get this.
Because what do we say? Tiger Mask is retiring next year, but before Forbidden Door, though, right? Didn't we talk about that? It was the date was Tiger Mask retiring. What did he say? It was. We knew that this was the year. July. He's calling it quits in July 2026. So we either do it. Well, that's either his final match, or we got to do it right fucking now.
Well, the other thing, Forbidden Door is in fucking London. It's perfect.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to do the whole flight. But he'll do this. Oh, you're talking about Billington. I was thinking Tiger Mask is thinking.
We got both of them.
I don't want to do that fucking flight. But Yeah, it's not too bad.
And Billington in London, there's a million connections there. So, look, Tone, we don't need them we don't need them to get 22 minutes on the main show. Give me 6 minutes on the buy-in.
I'll take 8 minutes on the 0 hour for sure.
Yeah, whatever is it buy-in or 0 hour?
It's 0 hour, except for a double or nothing, and then it's the buy-in.
All right, whatever. So just give me fucking 6 minutes on the pre-show instead of the dopey fucking Costco guys, and we'll be happy.
Right.
We'll be happy.
Leave the infantry at home. Bring Billington.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlie Bravo. And,
like,
the Captain
Sean
Sean
Dean will be there anyway, but
right, but
Sorry,
Trish. I'm sorry, Trish Adora, but
hopefully the Costco guys are busy doing another Great Clips commercial and they won't be able to make it.
That has to be the nadir, right? If you're doing Great Clips back to school commercials, we're done, right?
Well, the one guy's bit bald, right? Like the fucking dad. Does he even have hair?
Oh, he's got a little. No, he's got like a little. He's got like a fade. He's got like an aggressive
he does,
fade.
He
He's got a very aggressive fade.
No, he has. Yeah, he's got hair. He's got hair. Yeah. He's got really. You want to talk about those eyebrows are aggressive. That man has and so does the kid.
And tell Great Clips to cut those. For God's sakes, they'll do that. They'll put the little.
I was getting a hair. It's funny you say that. I was getting a haircut like 3 weeks ago, and she's like, "Do you want me to trim your eyebrows?" I was never more insulted. I'm like, why? I was like, why do you want to trim my eyebrows?
I always get them trimmed because I got bushy guys. I got little bushy guys, so I'm like,
I don't. I'm like staring in the mirror. I'm like, why do I look like a freak?
Oh, so
what do you want to trim my eyebrows?
That's never been offered to you, so you kind of took.
Yeah, I took offense to it. I'm like, what's wrong with my fucking eyebrow? I don't want my eyebrows trimmed. Tracy, take it easy. Jeez.
EY? Seems like an EY. That's real aggressive Tracy with EY energy out of that one. So
yeah, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my eyebrows. I got tremendous eyebrows over here. I don't want you touching my.
You pluck them? You pluck them, or are they just tremendous on their own?
No, they just look nice. I don't know. I don't feel a need. I've never been asked that. I feel like if I let her trim them, then they're going to grow faster. I know that's probably a myth, but I don't want that to become a thing.
Just in case, just in case you don't want to.
I don't want that to. Now, listen. Do I got to get in those ears every 2 days? I do. I got to get in the ears.
Oh, the ears are rough. Yeah, my ears are getting rough.
But
as I'm getting older, the ears, hair grows the best in my ears and my nose. It's like unbelievable. Other parts of my body, it's slowing down. Ears, rapid growth in the ears.
The nose is easy too. I get the mini scissor deal, and I get in there, it's gone.
Oh, you can use the Manscaped sent us one that does not work at all.
Doesn't work. I don't use
doesn't work at all, right? Have you ever tried that one? It doesn't work in your.
Just stick that thing in your. It doesn't cut anything.
It doesn't do anything. What the fuck is this thing? I look. There's one big piece hanging out, and I see that big piece, and I'm like, all right, it's making noise.
Yeah.
And the big piece is still there. I'm like, you couldn't even get that piece. It's a giant piece.
Does nothing. I'm convinced those things do nothing.
It makes a lot of noise because you put it in, and it's like, you're like, oh, it must be really working in there.
And then and the hair's still there. It's incredible. I'm like, I'm just going to get my scissors. Like, this is like, or a straight razor. Like, the 1860 technology still works way better. Mm-hmm. Way better than this stupid thing. They're not a sponsor. We could bury them. No,
fuck them. Yeah.
They haven't been a sponsor for years. So, I gave away because they just keep sending these razors.
They finally stopped, and I'm
Lawnmower 2.0, Lawnmower 3.0. I'm like,
what was that? What was the fucking nose thing? Because it had a gimmick name too, the Manscaped nose thing. But it stinks.
I'm like, I ran out of people to give them. I'm like giving them to my brother-in-law. I'm like, here, take this. He's like, what is? I'm like, it's a dick razor. Just fucking take it. I don't know. Just
the Weed Whacker. The Weed Whacker stinks. The Weed Whacker 2.0 stinks.
Garbage. I'm like, just go shave your dick. I don't know. Just it's yours now. Just take it out of my hands. You can throw it in the garbage for all I care. Just
take the bag. Take the leather bag with you too. I don't need it. So.
The bag, that stupid carrying case.
6 of those bags.
I'm not bringing this thing anywhere. I'm not getting flagged at the airport because I have a fucking Lawnmower 3.0 in my bag. And no thanks.
It did happen. I got to I got to an airport once and it turned on. Yeah, and you know me. You know how
yeah.
So it's like, and the guy's like,
sir,
what is this? Like, it's my razor. I know exactly what it is. It's like, all right, we're just gonna check. And I'm like, I'm telling you,
it's not a vibrator. It's my
and it's
razor.
Loud and it's going. And I'm like, I promise you, it's just the.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, yeah, you're good.
Well. If somebody's vibrator does go off, they got to pull that out of there too.
Right.
I mean, that's just, very embarrassing, I would imagine.
They did, and they did it on purpose too. So like, it's If they hear one of those, they all know. They all know. Hey,
they wanted to make sure
Yeah. Hey, is this yours or your? Hey, where's your wife? Bring her on over. Let's see. Is this the one you're giving it to? And it's like, oh, come on. It's a fucking razor, dude. Like, chill out, brother.
It's a fucking dick razor.
Yeah.
It's perfectly normal.
Right.
Shaving my fucking balls on this trip, sir.
Right. I want it to look bigger, so I'm going to shave it. I don't need the other thing. I got this thing, but I got to make it look a little bigger. You know?
Oh, God. Then I got to do that trick where I push down real hard when I'm gripping it. Absolutely, sir. You know what I'm talking about, sir.
TSA guy. TSA guy. You got it, right?
Winking at him. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's the Dynamite review. Where else are we going here? How many hours has this show been?
2.5. About 2.5. So
all right. We're making good time.
We're making good time. So real quickly, other stuff going on this weekend in SummerSlam weekend, and really, they're all terrible. But I want to present you with this because I had no idea. I was today years old when I found out there's a Rutherford, New Jersey. Not just East Rutherford. I know East Rutherford.
Yeah.
There's a Rutherford?
Yeah, they're all a bunch of dumps. Doesn't really matter.
Is there a West Rutherford? Would be my next question.
I am not familiar with a West Rutherford, New Jersey.
So we have an
that
East
doesn't
Rutherford.
Mean there isn't one.
And a Rutherford, but not a... Because I swear to God, my entire life I knew East Rutherford, New Jersey, and then a bunch of these shows are happening in Rutherford, New Jersey. And I was like, what the fuck is Rutherford, New Jersey?
No, it's not my neck of the woods, but
Okay.
I don't think there's a West Rutherford. No, there's just East Rutherford and Rutherford.
Okay.
Which are right next to each other, by the way. So, yeah. No, I just Googled it. There's no West Rutherford.
Okay, okay. I thought I would ask you, see if you knew, or maybe an unofficial name. People call this one neighborhood West Rutherford or whatever, but no, we have no idea. So, Friday, August 1st, Game Changer Wrestling WWE ID Showcase. Oh, I know you're in for the WWE ID Showcase from the Williams Center in Rutherford.
Hey, does anyone give a fuck about WWE ID?
Zero. It's unbelievable how that thing felt
Who is Gabe booking this for? Besides, I don't even know who.
Yeah.
Does anyone care?
Nobody cares. The main event is going to be Jack Hartwheel and Cappuccino Jones for the ID title. Who's the champion? You decide. I don't know. You tell me.
No.
My notes don't have a C next to either of the names, so I'm not sure. It might be the first time they're making this title, or one of these men are the champion. I don't know.
Oh, it's a never-ending tournament.
Oh, is this that tournament that keeps going?
It started at WrestleMania. This is never-ending tournament.
They're crowning an ID champion on this night.
Well, it was a league, and then it was going to be elimination after the league, but then it's double elimination, and then it never fucking
Who is this for?
No one cares. Not a
they've also
person.
not signed anybody, and they've done no new training schools. They've done nothing with it.
It's such a flop.
They grabbed their 15 people, and they grabbed their 4 schools and their 15 people, and then nothing has happened since then. It's really weird.
And then they're doing mass tryouts at SummerSlam anyway. It's like, so
they're bringing in Daga and LJ Cleary and stuff, and it's like, well, what are you doing with this ID program then? If you're just gonna go back to just bringing guys that are established pro wrestlers,
when you have a chance to sign It's Gal, you have to do it. That's the other problem.
You got to get the hooks on It's Gal. You can't let anybody get It's Gal or Aaron Rourke.
The problem is all of them suck.
Yeah, they're all.
I don't want to watch any of these. I tried it WrestleMania weekend. I'm like, this is low level garbage. I don't want to watch this. It's a bunch of fucking junk. Now, good for Gabe. He got his job.
Yes.
He doesn't have to take side hustles anymore, and he's happy. And he's just doing, it's a low. Oddly, this is like the lowest pressure job he's ever had. It's weird to say, right? But it's true.
Because he's like the 13th most important thing in WWE right now.
Yeah, and it's like, but you have this WWE ID bullshit with its title. Then you have the Evolve title, which is a different title than the WWE ID title.
It's
just, oh my
so weird,
God.
Yeah.
It stinks. It's impossible to follow. It stinks.
I think what really happened is the rest of the indies said, no, we're not doing this again. Because remember, Gabe's like, just a reminder, you can all, if you want to book any of my guys, you can. They're available. And nobody took the bait. Nobody took the bait whatsoever. Right. So Ibu in the chat room says, this tournament started before the NBA playoffs began.
It's true.
We're done with Summer League. Summer League's over.
Yeah. The Sacramento Kings did not three-peat, right?
They did not three-peat as the Summer League champs. No, your Charlotte Hornets, led by your Charlotte Hornets, and you're the Duke kid. He held them. He led them to the
buddy. When you said Charlotte Hornets, I really had to think for 3 seconds if that was an actual NBA team. Still,
I wasn't they're the sure. Bobcat. Wait a minute, they're not. Yeah,
I was like, no, wait, one of those fucking balls plays for them. Yeah, they're a real team.
Yeah, they're a real team. They're a team in the NBA. If they're a real team or not is up for much debate. But,
I mean, the Bobcats debacle really killed basketball in that town.
Oh, it's
done.
Yeah.
That was the fakest team. But now that there's no more Charlotte Bobcats, the fakest team in professional sports is the Columbus Blue Jackets. That is the fakest team in professional sports.
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Yeah,
the Columbus Blue Jackets are an actual real Big Four major league team. They're an NHL team. And I bet you even people who like sports, like 70% would think that that's like a minor league baseball team or something.
The fakest pro team. That's good.
The Columbus Blue Jackets. The competition is who's number 2, because the Columbus Blue Jackets are the fakest professional sports team. Big Four. Like no one cares about like WNBA. I'm talking about Big Four sports. Who's faker than them? No one. So who's number 2?
Yeah, it might be the Charlotte Hornets.
Is it the Charlotte Hornets?
It might be the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah, it might be the Charlotte Hornets. It was the Bobcats forever. They're the all-time fakest team ever. So much so that our gimmick, when every time we do the over and back, and we don't do them very consistently anymore, we pretend the Bobcats don't exist. Like in our notes, we just won't even bring up the Bobcats, or if a note comes up, we're like, "What? There's an error in this. It says the Bobcats." Like this is insane. Because I think we all, as a sports community, should just come together and just never ever acknowledge that the Bobcats ever existed. There's no reason to.
I think most people do.
Yeah.
Now listen, you're going to lose a big chunk of the career of Bonzi Wells, and I don't know if I could accept that. But
no, Bonzi was a Blazer and no. You're thinking of. I don't think Bonzi had a long run on the.
Bonzi Wells?
Nah, the Bobcats? No. I don't think he even played for the. No, I don't think he ever played for the Bobcats. Who are you thinking of here?
Oh, you know what it was?
Gerald Wallace or something?
No. I was thinking of Bonzi Wells. He played for my 2K Bobcats team.
Well, that doesn't count.
Right. No, bad job out of me. Because I always
tell me about your 2K game or your long established Bonzi Wells Bobcats run.
I can tell you all about it. Bonzi Wells was a go-to player for me in 2K because he was a great slasher on those games.
Yeah.
He could slash to the basket. And I had Bonzi Wells. I had Jason Capono, who I would, sit outside the 3-point line. So I think I had a Mecca Okafor on that Bobcats team in 2K. So I apologize. I got confused.
Well, Mecca is he's a real deal Bobcat.
He was also a Joe Lanza Bobcat.
Yeah.
So, that worked out nicely. But, So,
Nashville Predators is a good one, too. They still feel kind of fake. A lot of those NHL 90s expansion teams all feel kind of fake. Like the Thrashers felt fake, but then they're gone now, so that helps. Because if the Atlanta Thrashers were still around, they would be a 1-2. And that's the Atlanta Thrashers should be like what I do with the Bobcats, where nobody should acknowledge that the Atlanta Thrashers ever existed.
If you said to me, Joe, I'm putting a gun to your head, or the Atlanta Thrashers a current major league professional team, I might be dead. I might say, the Atlanta Thrashers, they're in the NHL. I had no idea. They're not a team anymore?
They moved back to, they're the Winnipeg Jets now, I think, again.
Like Winnipeg Jets 3?
Yeah, this time we're going to stay. I promise, yeah.
Right.
This time Winnipeg is going to appreciate having an NHL team.
Winnipeg Jets 2, Electric Boogaloo. This time it's for real.
Yeah.
Right. Just like the Charlotte Hornets, ironically enough.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
taking us full circle.
You go back and you're not there's another franchise that wasn't the first franchise. It's come on. That's like the Washington Senators 2.
Right.
That didn't work out.
And then they did this ridiculous thing where they did the history of the franchises. They decided to keep the history with the town that they were in or whatever. And it's just like, oh, get out of here. So, like, you have a Mecca Okafor as like a Charlotte Hornets legend or whatever. It's like, get out of here. This is ridiculous.
It's dumb. Yeah. Hate that shit.
Yeah. Gerald Wallace is the all-time win shares leader for, the Charlotte Hornets. The order is Kemba Walker, Gerald Wallace, Muggsy Bogues, Larry Johnson, Del Curry. And it's like, come on.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? Because they share
Larry Johnson.
Well, because they grabbed.
I know. I'm saying it's ridiculous.
They grabbed all the Hornets history and then combined it with all the Bobcats history and then combined it with all these new Hornets history. And it's like,
because
fuck off.
Sports fans are too fucking loyal to their cities. Like, who gives a shit? Like, it's a different franchise. You know, I say that because I was never a fan of any of my like local teams, but it's like, is there really, how many basketball fans in Charlotte like would have fought for that?
Yeah, like we need to keep our Bobcats history in Charlotte.
It's like, buddy, you couldn't even keep either of your teams. Can we like focus on that first?
Right. Coming
like
to the
maybe
building.
if you bought some tickets, you wouldn't have had this problem to begin with.
Well, the original Hornets thing that was a all-time bad ownership dude who like killed people. Like he got in a car accident and killed people and sexually assaulted everybody. And because the Hornets, I mean, they were like those fans did love them. And then George had to be all Georgie, and that was the end of that in Charlotte. And then they never cared about the Bobcats and do not care about the current Hornets at all.
Well, you know, we had to destroy the history of Kendall Gill to achieve that. I'm not I don't agree with
Alonzo Mourning is just shit on so that we can keep the Bobcats history. Yeah, not me. But anyway, speaking of WWID, they're doing a showcase. Nobody's going to care. It's at the Williams Center in Rutherford. Game Changer Wrestling, Hit 'em Up. Get it? A Tupac song, Joe? Do you get it? Game Changer Wrestling naming their show after a Tupac song. You're going to get this. It's hilarious.
Hold on now. I actually don't get it. What's the connection to...
No, they name all their shows.
Oh, just random.
Yeah,
okay,
just fucking culture vultures.
A kitschy name.
Yeah.
Okay,
but anyway... oh, it's so kitschy, yeah. The world title match, your main event. I'll get this. This is going to be a real knee slapper for you. Effie versus Crowbar. Crowbar from WCW. You remember him?
Well,
oh, man.
All right.
Jeez. Can't wait for that. Oh, jeez. House of Glory, high intensity at the NYC Arena in Jamaica, New York. Now, this is an interesting show here.
Well, they probably have some main event that rocks, is what I'm guessing.
Not so fast.
Okay. All right, Lee
They have
Corso,
a match
what do we
that
got?
might rock. They have Amazing Red versus Ricochet. Now, that sounds cool.
Okay, sure.
The main event, though, for the HOG Crown Jewel title is Zilla Fatu defending his title against Bully Ray.
Oof.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out.
Your Hog Heavyweight title is Charles Mason versus Carlito.
Is Charles Mason the guy that wears the shirt and tie?
Yes.
Or is that...
Yes, that's Charles Mason, yeah.
No interest.
Same, yeah. There was a brief time where I squinted and I was like, I think I like Charles Mason. And then I watched him like 2 more times and I was like, nah, he's shit. And then your Hog Women's title, Indy Hartwell, fresh off one of the worst matches you'll ever see, versus Priscilla Kelly, the kneeless, legs exploding, like she has a dislocating, her kneecap like dislocates now all the time. Indy Hartwell versus Priscilla Kelly. That, all right, well, have fun with that. That's Hog. Why can we just have the Indies be good again? What is this? What is this?
I was never in, but I do have to declare that I'm out.
Right. I just want the record to show that I am out on the Hog High Intensity show. Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Powder Keg. Mm-hmm. You in for that?
No,
probably not. Caleb Conley versus Willie Mack for the American title is your main
event
there.
Caleb Conley?
Yes, Caleb Conley is your Juggalo Championship Wrestling champion. American
Really?
champion.
He's a title holder.
Yeah.
Oh, where's Scott O'Reed?
I don't think he's there anymore.
Not to be confused with Chris O'Bread of the Selfmade family.
No.
Scott O'Reed. Where's he? He's not around.
He's not on this show.
We got to ask Larry Dallas. Maybe he'll know the whereabouts of Scott Reed.
He'll know. Yeah, this looks like a terrible show, too. Hey, Saturday, August 2nd. Do you know there's a Bloodsport this weekend? There's a Bloodsport this weekend. Yes, Game Changer Wrestling Bloodsport. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 14, I think, at 1 p.m. from the Williams Center in Rutherford, New Jersey. Natty Neidhart. She's not Natalia in Bloodsport. She's Natty versus Masha Slamovich. Janai Kai versus Jordan Blade. And Jonathan Gresham versus Pete Dunne.
So... all of the WWE wrestlers will be going over again, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. There's something called Pro Wrestling Magic Project X at the Meadowlands YMCA. I'm not going to, you don't know who any of these guys are, so it doesn't really matter. Game Changer Wrestling Emo Fights. Get it? It's an emo. They play emo music. So they had their hip hop show, Hit 'em Up. Now they're going to have emo stuff. So you have
Rich, you keep asking me if I get it. I never get it. I don't.
So hilarious. Come on, you don't get the bits.
It's going over my head. I don't understand any of this
match. Get it? Because emo kids wore studded belts, so it's a studded belt strap match. Drew Parker versus Justin Finn. It's hilarious. Laugh. Priscilla Kelly versus Brooke Havoc. Brian Keith versus Zachary Wentz. Game Changer Wrestling emo fight. Bad Luck will be there. I don't know who Bad Luck is, but I assume they're a musical artist. They're going to be there.
That's I think that's a band, right?
Yeah, sure.
Do they sing this one? I'm not a perfect person. There's many things I wish I didn't do. Oh my God, do I hate that lyric. You whiny bitch.
Are you singing Hoobastank?
Yes.
I don't think they count. I don't think they're going to be at emo night.
Well, that's an emo lyric.
I don't think, but Hoobastank would not be declared a emo band, I don't think.
Well, that's an emo song.
I would agree it's an emo song, but yeah, please, for the sake of emo, do not.
You know what's funny?
Include Hoobastank.
I like that song. I hate how it starts. I'm not a perfect person.
It's a terrible song.
There's
wrong.
Many things I wish I didn't do.
It's a terrible song.
Oh my God. Why don't you cry more?
Hoobastank.
Fuck. Did that come through the mic?
Oh, it did. Yeah, it was good. It wasn't good singing, but it was a good rendition of how they sing in that song.
Come on,
which
that
is
sounds
awful.
exactly like that guy.
I agree.
Now listen,
it sounds exactly like the song. That's why I think it's a bad song. But
have you ever seen the video?
Yeah, it's very
with the bank robbery.
It's very 2003 or whenever the hell that song came out. It's like very,
I thought it was a nice swerve at the end with the bank robbery. I won't spoil it.
Spoil it, for God's sakes. Yeah.
Everyone go watch the
For God's sakes. Who mistake the reason? Give it come on, man.
Will Sum 41 to be at the they're not emo either.
Oh yeah. Well, no. I think you're off track on what you're considering.
No, they're not
emo.
How about the plain white tees? They would be.
I wouldn't call them emo either, but
Hey there, Delilah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about that song.
If you start, don't bear. If the nurse finds out you're bearing the plain white tee, she's going to come to Texas and whoop your ass.
Will you let me finish my point? I had a dog named Delilah, and every time that died around the time that song came out,
oh yeah,
I would have to go hide in the fucking bathroom when that song came on in
at
the
your local
restaurant.
grocery store. Yeah, it's a grocery store banger all the time.
At the time, I was working at this steakhouse.
Oh God!
And they had the music,
Dun, 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 and you're like, no.
That song was a giant fucking hit.
Yeah, you heard the first couple of bars of that acoustic guitar, and you had to bail. Yeah.
Hey there, Delilah. Are you like? I'd have to go in the bathroom and cry in a stall. It was awful because my dog just died. My little my black pug, Delilah.
Oh, that's a good name for a black pug. Yeah. All right, I thought you were going to bury the plain white tees. I was going to say the nurse.
No, it pays to let me finish what I'm saying.
It does. Yeah, so that's the nurses group there. But no, they will also not be there. Something called Bad Luck will be there. So,
will we be marching in the Black Parade at this
See, now there you go. Now you hit it.
Now I'm on track.
You're there. Right? Now you're there. You're doing all butt rock. You were giving me all butt rock before, but you got it. You got it on track there with the Black Parade. Yeah. I'm
going to sing a few bars. You want me to give you a few bars of that?
You got it. Go. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say no. I wasn't prepared.
No, please do. Yeah, I don't know if you do. Do you have?
Do you want to join me on the Black Parade?
No, I don't like My Chemical Romance. No MCR over here. I'm good.
Okay. Their stupid logo with the little heart and the yeah.
Dude, those guys. They do
logos. These bands.
Yeah, those guys do fucking arenas, man.
Yeah,
they did like a residency at that at the Las Vegas, where the Raiders play, and sold that fucker out.
Let me tell you, they're slaying puss like Prince Devitt in Japan. They're just one after another.
Yeah,
yeah.
Good for them. Yeah, but none of them will
Prince
be there.
Devitt.
Yeah, none of them will be there. Sunday, August 3rd, Jersey Championship Wrestling High Noon. How about this for the Jersey Championship Wrestling World Title? Masha Slamovich versus Marcus Mathers. Does that get you going, Joe?
Wait, what was it? I wasn't even paying attention.
Masha Slamovich versus Marcus Mathers. Get it?
No, can Masha Slamovich just wrestle a woman, and can Marcus Mathers just wrestle a man? And we could have two better matches than whatever that's going to be.
No.
Can we just do that?
No,
okay.
No, we can't. And then you have Pro Wrestling Magic Project X. They're doing back-to-back days. Great for them. And then SummerSlam. So, yeah, that is the indie weekend. Good luck to anybody going to any of those
Can I make a request?
That we never talk about these ever again?
Can I make an official request?
That I never talk about Jersey Championship Wrestling or GCW weekends ever again?
Can you please stop collecting these shows except for WrestleMania? These segments are fucking brutal.
I thought this was a fantastic segment.
Well, we have to save it.
If we save it, no, they're brutal on their own, and I know they're going to be brutal. It's just we have to save it because we're very good at what we do.
There's times where I'm tired or not in the mood, and you're just reading off these. All right, so All In Weekend we've
horrific.
got, and I'm like, Rich, no one fucking cares. Just do them for WrestleMania. Please do not come back in 3 weeks. Like, all right, so Forbidden Door weekend, we've got Limey Championship Wrestling. I think they're based out of Manchester, according to Ian Hamilton, and they've got no. We don't want to hear it anymore. We don't know. I don't want to hear what Gene Money is doing. Forbidden Door weekend.
I just want people to know how bad the scene is right now. That is those are the piggybacks off of SummerSlam. But I agree. I'm with you. I understand.
So we've got Gene Money versus Spike Trevette, and are you in on that one, Joe? No, Rich, I'm not in on that one.
Progress chapter 428.
It sounds terrible, but thanks for letting me know that Gene Money is wrestling Spike Trevette.
And then it's just a parade of terrible GCW shows with matches that sound so unappealing. You would never.
Man called Darius is taking on. No, make it stop.
It's always Masha Slamovich too. It's the best part. Every weekend, I'm just like, all right, so it's Masha Slamovich in 15 different matches that none of them sound good and none of them are going to be good. But.
I mean, good for her getting booked. That's great because she's good and she gets booked. Like, if you're good, you're going to get booked because no one's good. No one's good. So if you're good, you get booked. Oh, God.
I think they're
Forbidden
fantastic.
Door in London. That promotion that runs in the Cave. Are they still going to be
the Cave promotion?
Yeah, the Cave promotion.
And for Baber brings up a good point. And I have to go to that show because it's in a topless club. The Gene Money.
Gene Money. Well, Gene Money puts the tape over his nipples, so we're covered there.
All right. Well, just like the ladies on the topless show, they had tape over the nipples too. So.
Did they?
Oh wait, no, they didn't. No, they did. No, they had pasties. I do remember.
Oh, they did
have.
Well, you leave something to the imagination,
right? Well, I wasn't imagining much out of these ladies. No,
something
offense.
to think about in the shower. Back.
Well, these were not. These were not Vegas's finest. I'll tell you that. So.
Oh, all right. Well,
anyway,
this was the Cheetah Club from Showgirls, not the club that
correct.
Not the right. Okay,
yeah.
The Cheetah Club.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So
with Robert Davi, was there ever better casting for a strip club manager than Robert Davi? Google him, Rich. I know you know this guy. Google Robert Davi. You'll know the actor. He was the manager of the Cheetah Club in Showgirls, and it was the best casting of all time.
All right, what was the name again? Roger Davi.
Robert Davi.
Robert
Davi.
Okay, Robert Davi.
You know this actor.
Oh, yeah.
He was the manager of the Cheetah in Showgirls, and it was just the best strip club. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have a better strip club manager than the great Robert Davi, who was one of the great character actors in any sleazy fucking crime movie or something that you
with
could
like the
ever
facial
have.
Scars too. He's got like the acne scars or like the burns marks or whatever. Yeah, that's good. That
man has sex trafficked. I mean, there's no question about it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? Looking at Robert Davi's IMDb. I know what you're doing.
We got a Dynamite rating. We don't know anything about it, though. We just have numbers from Dave Meltzer. You ready?
Lay it on me.
612,000.
Okay, that's not bad.
And a 0.15 in the demo.
That's not good. Okay. Got to see the quarter. Got to see the quarters.
Yeah. That's all Dave says. Don't have much on Dynamite past. It did a 612 and a 0.15 is all we have. We'll have
the
details
612. Well, haven't they been in the 500? What was last week? Wasn't it 5 something?
Let me grab last week's real quick here. Yeah. Who can get here first?
Take a piss in this Mountain Dew. Hold on.
To say it.
My last one was the 8th inning of that Reds game. So,
all right. So please mute when you do that. It was a 0.14. This was last week, and 608,000 viewers in the average viewers. So this is up a little bit in total and up a little bit in the demo. But without knowing the quarters. Yeah, without knowing the quarters, it's pretty.
I mean, they're flat.
Yeah.
To call that, I mean, marginally up in the demo, okay. The total viewers are in the margin of error.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know. There's not going to be much spin to be had on those total numbers, but we'll take a look at the match itself. I mean, I'm looking for signs, man. I'm looking for them. That's all. I'm not going to repeat the segment, but that's got to be disappointing. I mean, it's a world title match. It's your new babyface world champion. Not good news, as Tito Santana would say.
right. That is, you main event it all in with that, and you come back on a Dynamite with that. You want a little more. You want a little more juice on that.
I mean, can I get more of a bump than that? I'm saying. I'm not asking for a 0.35.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe that quarter hour was insane, and then everybody left. Everybody that owned a TV said, "Fuck that, I'm out," and then left. But I don't think that's going to be the case. We'll see though.
Well, I'm sure it was the best quarter on the show. I mean,
oh, no doubt.
But I want to, well, I mean, is there a doubt? I mean, the quarter hour one is often, with the lead in.
Oh, true. Yeah, with the lead in, yeah.
I don't know. I reserve. Look, doesn't sound great. Let's just put it that way. So we'll see what the quarters look like.
Absolutely. All right. Quick hitters here before we get out. G1. Now, you have doing daily G1 audio, so we don't need to belabor the point and go over all the G1 again, but I just want to establish what...
I had all my math ready.
You ready to go? Well, I mean, I got time. I'm good.
Of course not. I don't ever have the math ready. What are you talking about?
They do sportofprowrestling.com. Our friends Chris Sampson and Jeremy Sexton have a scenario tool, so you can put in all the different matches and
very helpful.
Which is very helpful, so we don't have to do the segments that we usually do. Where you're like, all right. So how many? Cal Newman has how many matches left? And I say 3, and then you go, no, it's 4. And I go, oh yeah, it's 4. And then
cue the Benny Hill music.
Right. You're like, okay, all right. So Cal Newman has Bolton. Who does he have? He has Bolton and Sonata. Who's the other one? Suji. Okay, all right. No, not Suji. No, Uemura. Okay, it's just awful, terrible radio, but I always enjoy it. So the A block. Right now you have Yota Tsuji at 8. You have Yuya Uemura at 6. You have Bolton Oleg at 6. You got Evil at 6. You have Rohei Oiwa at 6. You have Callum Newman at 4. Hiroshi Tanahashi at 4. Sonata at 4. Taichi at 4. David Finlay at 2.
So Finley's going to make a charge, obviously. They're not going to. In fact, he'll probably be one of the 3 people to advance. So, that's the classic Gato, bury somebody, and then they charge back. What I think they're going to do with Tanahashi is I think he's going to lose to Tsuji and Uemura, which means he's going to lose to all of the this potential lost generation I keep talking about. And I think he'll be eliminated by the final night, but his opponent on the final night is Evil. And he's been feuding with Evil for 2 years. And he's 1 win away from 100 G1 wins. So I think that'll be a big moment on the final night when Tanahashi beats Evil, probably eliminates him from contention, and picks up his 100 G1 win. I think that's what they're going to do with Tanahashi. As far as the rest of the block, you just hope that at least 2 of the spots go to some of these younger guys. Tsuji, Uemura,
they have to.
Oiwa, Bolton, Oleg. I don't think Newman, this isn't Newman's year. We'll leave him out of it. But I think Finley's going to sneak in there. So it's going to really leave only 2 spots, but you hope the other 2 spots go to these guys. Preferably Tsuji, Uemura, or Oiwa, 2 of those 3. I think Tsuji has actually been one of the standouts in terms of crowd connection. They seem to he gets good reactions every night. So I don't know. Just pick some of these guys and go with them. At least advance them and have them take a step.
Yeah, you just have to at this point. And as I'm watching this G1, and again, like I said, we're not going to – you have daily G1 audio. If people want to have, extensive thoughts on every single night of the G1, they can do so. $5 tier, flagship patreon.com. But I've checked out a good amount of the G1. I've watched just about every match, and I'm a really tough time caring about anybody. And caring about any of the matches. And this has been a tournament that I've really had to force myself more than ever to watch the tournament this year. And I don't feel like there's just a lot of juice. I don't really care. I don't really give a shit who's leading the block, who wins the matches. There's been a couple of matches that have bucked that trend. I thought Drill Maloney and Yoshihashi was like my favorite match in the entire tournament so far, because it had a lot of fun. It had stakes. It was quick. It was, they got in the ring, no bullshit, just went at it right away. And I was like, there it is. That's it. That's the essence right there. Two guys that, hey, we really probably shouldn't be where we are in the standings right now, but we are. So you know what? Fuck it. We're going to lay it all out there, and one of us is going to win and one of us is going to lose. That was a really cool match. That one had stakes. It had energy. It felt like it mattered. And there's been a real lack of anything else really mattering. There's been a couple of matches here and there, and there's been a couple guys that have stood out to me. I think Yota Tsuji has proven to me that there's something there. I don't know if it's like that's the guy that I'm building my entire company around, but I think there's something there. And I think Uemura and Oiwa have been fine, but other than those guys, it's kind of just been nothing. Bolton Oleg's been okay, but it just feels like this roster, really quickly overnight, this roster just got super, I don't know the word. It's just, there's no juice up and down these cards. It's just none of these guys have any juice, and especially in this A block, there's just a lot. The big issue too is this is supposed to be Tanahashi's last G1, and that was going to be a big draw, is that people are going to go want to see Tanahashi in his last G1. And the big idea in this, G1 so far has been, Tanahashi's going to lose to these young guys, and they're going to get a rub from beating Tanahashi. But here's the thing. How much rub do you get from beating a beaten down, battered, fat, barely able to walk Hiroshi Tanahashi? This isn't, you do that when these guys are in their semi-prime or just outside of their prime. And it's like, oh, wow, that guy beat Hiroshi Tanahashi, and he's still one of the best in the world. Or, oh, that guy was just the IWGP World Champion a couple years ago. Does beating this Tanahashi mean anything?
Probably not.
I don't think it does. And look, people aren't coming to watch Hiroshi Tanahashi do his last G1. It seems that a lot of people in Japan don't really care, or they're just kind of over it. Because is this really fun to watch? Hiroshi Tanahashi just limp through the final G1 of his entire career. It's some people live for this stuff. Some people love watching great wrestlers be old and bad. You and I have always established that I prefer to just kind of leave the memories alone, and I don't want to see guys limping into their final years. Maybe that's a sports thing. Maybe we get that from sports, because there's nothing worse than watching Patrick Ewing on the Sonics or Willie Mays on the Mets, or you know what I mean? Like that's the worst thing you can ever see. Johnny Unitas on the Chargers. Like, these things suck. These are awful. They're not good memories that anybody has for any of these guys. And maybe that's why you and I have, and some people think we're cold when we say that, but it's like, I don't want to watch this guy have a bad G1. That doesn't make me so, oh, cool. Hiroshi Tanahashi's in a G1. He's bad and fat, and he can barely wear his pants, and he can barely move. This is great. I love this. Like, why would I want to watch this? So that's really hurt, I think, the A block a lot, is that one of the big stories is people are beating Tanahashi, but I don't care. And yeah, B block. Yoshihashi with 8 points, Drill Maloney with 8 points, Ren Narita with 8 points, Great O'Khan with 8 points, Zack Sabre Jr. 6, Takeshita 6, Shota Umino 6, Shingo 4, Phantasmo 4, Gabe Kidd 0. Now, I grabbed these from Wikipedia, and I believe they're already giving people points for defeating Gabe Kidd. Yeah, so that's
New Japan is officially too. So that's
they're doing that officially too. Okay, so they are. They
just gave everybody the points.
Okay, because I was wondering if they were doing it, because they in past years, I guess they've done it where when you beat the guy, then you get the points. But that's I guess smart to just get it out of the way now. So
yeah.
Yoshihashi's been fun. Jill Maloney's been fun, but I don't know. Shota Umino is showing me that his work can get to that level, but I think he's still a charisma void. So
yes.
Because that Shingo Shota match from, what was that, last night or 2 nights ago? Night 8, I want to say that one was a good match, like a technically good match, but these fans did not give a fuck about anything going on in the ring there.
Yeah, they're not reacting to Umino the same way they're reacting to Yota Tsuji and some of the other guys.
Right.
And you could see the difference in I made this comparison on my audio. When you watch Shingo and Takeshita, which was the best match of the tournament, and then you watch Shingo and Shota Umino, you see the stark difference between Takeshita and Umino.
Right.
Versus the same opponent. And
similar match structure too. Similar match structure. It's a Shingo match. It's kind of, you know what I mean? It's one of those big time, we're going to throw a bunch of big bombs and do a bunch of big moves. And I mean, there was one point where they did, at Shingo and Shota were going back and forth, and they both did like a double clothesline spot and both landed on the mat, and the crowd didn't react at all.
Umino continues to struggle to get over with the fan base. They booed him out of buildings, and then New Japan insisted upon resetting him and continuing to push him. And you almost feel like the fans are like, well, we tried to reject him and it didn't work. And now we're like, we still don't really like this guy. So now what? We can boo him again, but what's the difference? Right. They're just going to keep pushing him. So that's kind of the feeling you get. But obviously Gabe Kidd was a big loss. He probably would have been one of the three to advance. So they're going to have to rewrite the block to some extent. Saber's going through. Takeshita's going through. So then who's the third? It might have been Kidd might not have been going through anyway, but he certainly would have been in the mix.
He was going to be in the mix for sure. And yeah, as far as some of those other guys that are on top,
it's going to be Umino now.
I think it's going to be Umino because, you look at the top guys, and that's something that, in our notes, I put in who they have remaining, every guy. And yeah, the Yoshihashi dream is about to end because he's got ELP, Zack Sabre Jr., Takeshita, and Umino. He's losing at least 3 of those.
He might lose them all.
He might lose them all, but he's definitely losing 3 of those 4. And Drilla, almost the same one. He's got ELP, Sabre, Shingo, and Takeshita. He might lose all 4 of those as well. And Ren Narita, he's got Great Okan, Shingo, and Takeshita. He's losing at least 2 of those 3.
Yeah, so, there's really only one spot up for grabs, and it was going to be Kidd or Umino, so it'll probably be Umino now.
Yeah. Because he's got Umino's got Great Okan, Takeshita, and Yoshihashi. So I think he'll beat Okan. Takeshita, you could play however you need that to work out for tiebreakers or whatever, and then Yoshihashi he beats.
Yeah.
Pretty easily as well. So I don't know. Clap, get into it.
And then you got the House of Torture stuff on both nights, which is just completely interminable. And I lost my shit a couple times already. It's just, I don't know. It's just
the same thing.
The worst. Yeah. It's the worst heel stuff in all of wrestling. It is. It's
with
just
the same people doing the same thing they've been doing for 5 years.
Same people doing the same thing. 5 years. To me, it's an extension of the Bullet Club. So we're going on like a dozen years at this point. But yeah, 5 years of just this, and it's just it never evolves. It never changes. It's never interesting. It's always done like slightly tongue in cheek. So there's never even like violence attached to it. It is the worst heel stuff in all of wrestling. And I don't even think it's close. It's the most infuriating heel stuff in all of wrestling. I'm just so tired of it. And it's a downer when you're watching these shows when it's like, oh, here comes the Ren Narita match. Right. Get the push-up bar ready. It's
who's going to get dragged out of the ring? Someone's going to do a 2 count, and then a referee's going to drag it out of the ring, and then Walker Stewart's going to go, oh, damn it,
yeah,
damn it. It's like,
when does Kanemaru ring the bell and make the babyface think he won?
Right.
And here's the evil match. Here comes Don Fale to fucking attack. It's just the same shit.
Boo. Damn it. Come on. Can't we just have a match here? Damn it. Boo. All right. Yep. All right. Cool. Yep. Seen it all.
Yeah. All right.
1,000 times over and over again. But there you go. So G1 reviews, get into it. Hopefully once we get down to the brass tacks here of this tournament, we'll start getting a little bit more juice. Because right now it's been hard. That's been the thing that I've dreaded watching this last week.
Excuse me. You mean when we get to nut cutting time?
Nut cutting time. Yeah. What did I say? Brass tacks.
We're gonna make that a thing.
Nut cutting time.
Yeah. I've made many things a thing over the last 12 years. I'm going to make nut cutting time a thing.
All right, let's reestablish it. Nut cutting time, yeah, because that's lost its heyday. The nut cutting time, has definitely probably peaked in the 70s or so, and is really kind of as we get off the farms, Joe. It's probably been really down cycled.
Maybe like 1930s Kansas or something.
Right.
The Dust Bowl.
I'm figuring the parents of those guys used that term so that like your uncle in the 70s used it when he was talking about like a Reggie Jackson at bat or whatever. He's like, Thurman Munson's up. That's real nut cutting time here for Thurman Munson here. So and then Munson comes through with a nice clutch double to help the Yankees here. But then once your uncle stopped using it or he died of throat cancer or whatever for the cigarettes, then you know what I
just realized since you brought up Thurman Munson, to continue to hammer home how stupid Major League Baseball extra innings are. The Reds scored 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th, right, to tie the game. The Atlanta Braves had 6 at-bats the rest of the game, made 6 outs, and won. They were 3 up, 3 down in the 9th. They were 3 up, 3 down in the 10th, and somehow they won the game. If that doesn't tell you how stupid baseball extra innings are, I don't know what could hammer that home. They didn't get another base runner the rest of the game, and they won. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?
Doesn't have to be this way. AAA, we'll talk about that another week. We don't have to do it this week.
All right.
Their acquisition becomes official tomorrow. There's some rumors about what's going to happen or whatever. We'll get to that another week. No problem there. Real quickly, I'm going to recommend a Joshi match to you, Joe. I don't know if you're going to watch it, but you should. And then we'll get out of here. Azumi. You know Azumi, right? AZM.
You don't think I know the New Japan Strong Women's Champion?
Azumi. Yeah, I know you do.
Come on. Of course I know AZM.
And she here on July 24th was against the Bozilla, who I don't know if you knew, but the Bozilla made the jump. She told Rossi, you can keep your fucking hat and your marigold. I'm out of here. I'm going to Stardom. So she made the jump to Stardom.
How about that?
Yeah, that's
good for her.
Big, yeah. All the big old veterans are all leaving Stardom to go to Marigold, and don't look at Marigold's attendance or any of that anytime recently, but do look at Stardom's attendance, doing very well. And the Bozilla, the young upstart, is like, yeah, I'm out. I'm going to Stardom. So she made the jump. Joined Stardom, and they had this match here on July 24th. Now, this, because it was a New Japan Strong women's title match, it is available right now on New Japan World. So as of today, you can go to your New Japan World. So if you're catching it with the G1, watching the G1, you can watch this match. Getting a lot of hype as well. 8.46 on Cage Match right now. Azumi versus Bozilla. I think you'll enjoy it, and I think our listeners, a lot of you guys would enjoy it as well. If you've ever seen the Bozilla, she is very tall. I don't know what her actual height is, like, because she's in there with these women that are like absolute tiny. Like, I forget what Azumi is. She's like 5'2" or something like that. I think Bozilla is only 5'11", but she may as well be 7'8". She looks like George Mirasan in there against all these women. It's incredible. So she gets in the ring and you know, they get in and Azumi stands up to her and Azumi's like up to her, you know, God, up to her belly button, mate. I mean, it's like nowhere close. And Bozilla just like flexes and screams. And the rest of the match then is, it's like you're watching Vader. You're watching like classic Vader here, with Bozilla is in here against someone that's, you know, half her weight, half her height. And Azumi just has to figure out, how the hell do I take down this tree trunk? What do I do? And it doesn't work. It doesn't work for a while. Bozilla just throws her around. Everything Azumi does she just gets destroyed and gets flattened. And it's just like, nah, dude, you're done. Like, I'm so much bigger than you. I'm going to win this title. It's not going to work. So then Azumi decides, all right, I got to change my whole plan here, and starts becoming more of a submission game. Like, I'm just going to get you on the mat and try to submit you, and that's how I'm going to win. And that was the idea of the rest of the match, is that Bozilla would get up, do a big power move, do a moonsault. Like, she had all the Vader spots down. She did a freaking moonsault, and it didn't work. And anytime something that she did didn't work, you'd have Azumi then slide in and put in like some sort of submission or some sort of lock or some sort of quick move that you can do to get her down as much as possible. But I thought this was just a great, if you want to see the perfect template for a little person, big person match, this is it. It nailed it perfectly, and Azumi got the win eventually. She had a submission locked in, but Bozilla would not give up, so Azumi rolled through and made it into a pinning combination that had her arms and legs all tied up, and Bozilla was trying like hell to get out of it. Like, she's wiggling and wiggling and wiggling and realizes, oh, fuck, I'm caught. I can't get out of this, and that's how Azumi got the 1, 2, 3, and it was just a really, really good match. And yeah, if you've never seen the Bozilla, it's a good opportunity to watch her. And Azumi, who I think is one of the better women's workers in the world right now, was really on top of her game in this match too. So yeah, it's on New Japan World. I think Robert in the chat room was saying that it might be on YouTube as well, but if you definitely want to watch it on New Japan World, if you have the subscription, because it's there and it's available for you. But yeah, definitely check out this match, Azumi versus Bozilla, from July 24th, and Stardom's starting their 5-star Grand Prix as well. So I'm gonna check in from time to time, probably on the Flagship Plus. If I get a chance, I'll do some check-ins from here and there, because I've really liked a lot of Stardom that I've watched this year has really worked for me, and this match in particular I think would work for you, Joe. So I'm recommending that to you and everybody listening. Even if you don't care about Joshi, don't care about Stardom, this is a match that I think you should definitely watch, because I think there's a big person, little person template that you don't see as much in today's wrestling, but you see it here, and it's done to perfection, I thought. So really, really good match. Highly recommend it.
So with Stardom being arguably the hottest growth promotion in the world outside of maybe CMLL, and Mary Gold being a complete and total flop of epic proportions, can we finally get this fucking pervert off the Hall of Fame ballot?
Yeah, I think it's time to.
There is nothing to discuss with Rossi Ogawa anymore, and on this whole. And I mean, come on, this is the nail in the coffin for this guy. I mean.
Better yet, he took all of Stardom's top stars too. Like all like, you know, Julia, obviously she left and went to WWE or whatever, but like Mayu Iwatani is there, and they have a bunch of other people, and all the time, and they're like, oh wow, he took all the top stars from Stardom. So what Stardom did is say, all right, we'll just create new stars, and they just create a bunch of new stars. And Saya Kamitani got way over, and they pushed Izumi a little bit more, and they pushed Starlight Kid a little bit more. They just took all of their people and said, all right, we'll just push them, and you can have all these old veterans. And Rossi, you know, laughed all the way to the bank, and now Marigold is just, I mean, irrelevant on the scene. I mean, just nothing. Is
this guy the most overrated promoter, like, in recent history? I mean,
yes.
What has this guy ever done?
Every time you hear a case for him, it's always ridiculous. It's like, well, the Jumping Bomb Angels, and it's like, well, what did he do? He's like, oh, well, he was like, you know, a big part of their thing. And it's like, well, what did he do? What did he do for them? And it's like, nobody has anything. It's like, oh, well, then he was a big time deal in this promotion and this promotion. Like, those promotions all failed instantly. Like, Arison, like, that fucking lasted 2 years. That doesn't matter. Like,
nothing he touches ever
just because he starts a promotion doesn't mean he's a Hall of Famer. Joe, you and I can start a promotion and it can go out of business in 6 months. That doesn't mean, wow, you got to give it to them. They started a promotion. Great. We started a promotion. It failed and it went out of business. Like, that's not a good thing. That's not something. And Stardom wasn't doing great when Bushiroad bailed it the fuck out.
Right.
which happened.
Yeah. And then he leaves and Stardom is doing the best business they've ever done. And they're the hottest promotion in the world in terms of growth. And the thing that he starts is flopping like a dead fish. It's just dying on the vine. I mean, enough of this guy. I don't want to hear another word about this guy. Done. Okay, we can't hear another word about this guy.
I guess it was the Crush Gals. Wasn't it the Crush Gals that he took credit for? I said Jump Bomb Angels. I meant the Crush Gals. Because people say, like, oh, he was a big part of the Crush Gals because he was, like, their manager or something like that. But it's like, well, maybe let's give credit to the fucking Crush Gals for being awesome.
He was in charge of the marketing for All Japan. It's always some ambiguous shit.
Yeah, like, well, can you point exactly to what he did for the Crush Gals? And it's like, well, he took pictures for him. It's like, what? Like, that's what we're doing.
Or they're like, oh, he was the booker, and you're like, oh, really? Well, not really the booker, but he had like a lot of ideas, and or we can't pin down who the booker was, but I think it would. No, what did he do?
Yeah.
And even if he did some of those things, like, look at the rest of his career. And the All Japan women's promoters are in the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. What do we need this underling for? What the fuck? I mean, enough of this guy.
Yeah, the fact
that
they're doing...
the brothers are in.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, and they deserve to be in for All Japan Women. We don't need to have this guy who, oh, yeah, no, he was a big part of All Japan Women. Okay, what did he do?
Well, the photographer,
the
he
magazine,
did a little marketing,
and photos. And it's like, what are we doing
an idea. He had some booking ideas that they may or may not have done, or may or not have been his idea.
Okay, all the top women that were huge draws are all in, and the two guys that founded the company are both in. How about? I think we're good. We got it. I think we nailed All Japan Women to it.
What's he doing now? Can someone tell me what he's doing? Run me down Marigold and how they're. How's your territory doing?
Yeah, his territory not doing well. Yeah, breaking multiple records and doing great.
Enough of this guy. Had it with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Taro Okada is the booker right now, I believe, for Stardom, and he deserves a lot of credit for what he's been doing. So it's good
stuff. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's a little early, but he's already done more than Rossi. He's already done more than Rossi for sure.
Yeah, before the hat guy, what's he doing? Starts a promotion, takes all the top stars, and then it just flops.
Yeah,
completely flops. Lying about attendance. Not putting out attendance half the time.
Yeah, it's rough there. They've had some shows that are like, oof. You know, when you get those Japan shows and they're in like the 500s and 600s, and you're like, oh boy, yeah, it's not
Corrigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of those where you're like, ooh. Yeah. And people are like, and people are saying he's lying about the 600 because you watch the show and you're like,
right.
That's a light 600 people. And it's like, yeah, I think he may be lying about the 600.
It's not good when you can pause your stream and count how many people are there.
Right. Yeah, when you turn on Cork and Hall and there's that yellow, like you see that yellow color, and you're like, oh, that's not good. That's not good.
Just take your fucking shitty promotion and go to Shinjuku Face with heat up and leave us alone.
Or orange. Orange is the color I mean. The orange seats at Corkin is what I meant to say.
Is he outdrawing Hard Hit at least?
I think he's outdrawing a Hard Hit. Yeah,
does Hard Hit exist anymore?
He might be outdrawing Big Japan as well, but that's not something.
Well, great.
He's in that range though. He's a little over Hard Hit. I'm going to take him out of the Hard Hit range, but he's in the Big Japan 0-1.
How about Guts World? How's he doing?
I think he's outdrawing Guts World. I don't think Guts World's running anymore.
I think that folded in 2018.
I think Guts World is done. Yeah, Guts all caps World.
I bet you if Black Buffalo ran a produce show tomorrow, he'd outdraw Marigold.
Oh yeah, a Bodyguard would outdraw Marigold for sure.
Yeah, bring back Colega. They ran every fucking day.
They ran every day. If you combine the whole week, they probably outdrew Marigold too. They ran that nightclub, and I think that nightclub only held like 30 people, but you know.
Andy Wu.
Love the Andy Wu.
What's he up to?
What's Andy Wu up to? I'll find out, and then we'll sign off here on this flagship here. Andy Wu cage match. Let's see what Andy Wu is up to. What the heck is Andy Wu up to? Yeah, he was a Kaliga superstar.
Is he working Land's End?
Yeah, let's see. He Secret Base.
Oh God! Oh no!
yeah, he's working Secret Base.
Now there's a promotion Rossi could outdraw.
He can probably outdraw Secret Base.
Secret Base.
Well, let's see. Secret Base Shinjuku Face 20th anniversary. Let's see what this drew. They don't have attendance for that.
Of course not, because there was nobody there.
Yeah, so he's working there. He's also working Big Japan and PPP. Remember PPP? They were what was the? I forget what it stood for, but they've been around for a while too. They stink. They're terrible. Big Japan, Secret Base. Oh, here's Land's End. Land's End in June 2025. Dylan James defending the All Asia Heavyweight title against Andy Wu. Land's End.
Yep.
Fukushima Mania. Who could forget? Yeah, a lot of Secret Base. A lot of Secret Base for Andy Wu. I wish. That sounds great. Let's find out. Does Land's End ever make tape? No. I subscribe to them on YouTube, but it's always just like guys. It's just like a talk show. It's just the dude talking all the time. Yeah. So let's see if Prosing Land's End. What am I looking for here? Fukushima Mania. Hold on a minute. Let's find out.
Come on.
Their last upload was 5 years ago on YouTube. So they're it's not on tape yet.
Tape Land's End.
It was always just a guy talking. It was just a guy in a room talking every time.
That could be all it is for all we know. Like, how would we ever know? It's not on tape. You're never going to find anybody who went to one. You know, at least Secret Base takes pictures of extremely tight angles of the ring
with the wall into the wall.
So you can't see that there's no fans there.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll see if that most recent Secret Base made tape, and then we can get out of here. 25th anniversary in Shinjuku Face. You'd think that would make tape, right?
What promotion is this?
Secret Base.
Oh.
No, this is the guy who's always talking. Never mind. It's like whoever runs the promotion, it's just him talking. He just drinks beer and talks. And that's what all the videos are. And I get them all in my subscriptions. And I'm like, why do I have this? It's just like a dude drinking beer. I'm gonna link it in the I'm gonna link it in the Someone said, isn't PPP the promotion ran by a porn company? I don't know. But yes. All right, let's get out of here. This has been another sterling edition of the Flagship Podcast. FlagshipPatreon.com for all of our bonus audio. As we mentioned, Thursday Dynamite reviews are going to normally be on FlagshipPatreon.com on that $5 tier. So if you like what you heard there, you can hear that every single week, every Thursday, reviewing Dynamite. Also, G1 Climax, daily audio from Joe Lanza as well. If you want to hear reviews of each and every G1 Climax show going on throughout this year's G1 Climax, also available for you too at FlagshipPatreon.com. Also just released a brand new episode of a brand new little mini-series. I'm going to Sturgis, baby. WCW Hog Wild 1996, Road Wild 97, Road Wild 98, Road Wild 1999. We're going to cover them all. The very weird, strange WCW Sturgis shows. I realized I had never done those. It's August. That's when they would always have these. So I decided to watch a couple of them and talk about them. So that's up there right now for you too. $5 tier at FlagshipPatreon.com. Tour of the Territories is still going. We're doing World Class this week. Next week we're in Mid-Atlantic. So we're touring the territories. 1983 going week by week. 31 weeks already down I'm going to do all 52 weeks, and then I don't know what's going to happen next year, but it's a lot to do every single week. So I don't know if we're going to be doing every single week next year, but something will happen for sure. But a lot of bonus audio up there for you at flagshippatreon.com. Written stuff, free tier as well. If you want to jump in and just kind of preview what we're doing, you could do so at flagshippatreon.com as well. You just sign up, get the free tier. You'll know when we post something. So if you like it, you can subscribe and upgrade. Or if you just want to get whatever we give you for free, you can do that too, because you get a couple things every so often for free. But that is it for us. So that is Joe Lanza. I'm Rich Craich. We'll talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye.
Hi, I'm Andrew Rich. And if you're like me, you look at the state of modern wrestling discourse and think, wow, what a cesspool. That's why I'm here to tell you about Music of the Mat Remix. That's right, your favorite wrestling music podcast is back with a new format, where I bring on a guest and we play songs related to wrestling-themed topics. It could be a wrestling reference, a wrestling concept, a wrestling pun, things of that nature. Now you might be saying, Andrew, that is a very, very tenuous connection to pro wrestling on a wrestling podcast network. Is this just an excuse to hang out with your friends and talk about music and ignore the rest of the wrestling landscape? Yes. Yes, it is. So listen to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice.
Hello, do you like New Japan Pro Wrestling? Are you a Shin Nihon freak? If so, check out the Super J-Cast with Joel and Damon on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
And even if you fucking hate New Japan Pro Wrestling, listen to the Super J-Cast anyway. Not just for our great show reviews, analysis, and pastrami sandwiches, but there's also usually some dick jokes somewhere in the obligatory opening 30 minutes of absolute nonsense we chat about every single week. That's the Super J-Cast for all the best talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, crisps, and pornography.